Okay. Thank you, Patricia, for getting us started. Let me go ahead and start the slideshow. Need to move myself so I can start the slideshow. Maybe we'll do this. Here we go. All right. Online, do you see the slide deck?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, super. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, welcome everyone online. Welcome everybody in the room. Today, you have been suckered. You have been duped into coming to a class that you thought had this sexy title. What was the title? Yes, plan your day like a mega agent. Well, that is the sexy cover-up for how a mega agent actually plans their day. Online, if you will check the chat box, and Patricia, if you'll make sure we've dropped the handout and also the 411 in the slide or in the chat box. Today's class is truly one that is foundational to any mega agent business, and that is time management with the 411. Okay, who knows what a 411 is? Good. So it is information. That's like the street slang for like what's the 411, what's the information. And in the Keller Williams universe, or in the mega agent universe, really this applies. I'll share in a second the different companies we're involved in. It applies in every single one of them. So it's not just real estate. Okay, it's all things peak productivity. So say it one more time. It is
4 weeks.
1
month.
Yes. And so I like to joke, Gary Keller never asked me what the name of the document should be, because if you are in class or you're online, you can see that the flow is actually annual, and then monthly, and then the 4 weeks. So it really should have been called a 114, yet no one really asked my opinion. So that's all right. It is this little document called the 411. Okay, and the 401 is basically a one-page executable business plan. Okay, a one-page executable business plan. So if I asked you today, if you could hold up for me your annual business plan in one sheet of paper, who can say yes? Working on it. Well, good. We're going to work on it today together. Okay, anyone online? All right, well, good news, friends. You are in the right place, okay? Here is what happened. Just to give you a little bit of information about myself, if you're online and we've never met, my name is Rutherford. I have the pleasure of being operating principal here and also in Marco Island. And I've been in real estate since 2013. Sorry to think for a second. 2013, we're wrapping up our 8th, going into our 9th year of real estate. And our first year in real estate, my husband and I both had full-time jobs, and he was a firefighter, I was a teacher, and he got his real estate license. And he's like, hey, let's do this business together. And I said, no way, you're crazy. And then 12 months later, we had sold 25 houses. And then our second year, I stepped away from my full-time job, and we sold 54 houses. So from 0 to 54, thank goodness, insert this wise person called a coach. Okay, we had an amazing coach. Her name is Elizabeth Curry. She's a MAPS coach. And she said, whoa, there's a lot going on here that we need to get. Oh, you said it, is to get organized. Okay. How many of us as real estate agents are naturally organized people? Say aye. Okay, well, great. So two of you are, and the other 20 of us, we can struggle a little bit. Okay. My mother loves to tell the story when she kind of sees all the stuff that we're involved in now. She'll say, I don't know who you are, Because like, this is not the child that lives in my home. This is not the teenager, you know, that was spilling nail polish on the floor, couldn't get her head on straight, peeking out the window. Like, who is this person? And anyway, Elizabeth said, you guys have a lot of potential, and yet you're kind of all over the place. Okay, it's time to get organized. And there's this document that's going to do that. Okay, so how many of you connect with that statement? There's a lot of potential inside of me, and yet I'm kind of all over the place. Say aye. Okay, good. So that one got more of a consensus than organized. So that's a good thing. Okay. Hi, grab a packet and a handout on your way in. You're welcome. I'm glad you're here. So Elizabeth was our math coach, and she said there's this document that I really want you to master, and when you do it, it's going to unlock all of your success. And part of that was really exciting, and the other part was master a document. That sounds really lame and really boring, okay? It just did not sound fun to me. I don't want to master a document. And so, okay, super. And she said, until you can commit to mastering this document, we're not going to move on to anything else. Now, I don't know if you know anything about math coaching, and yet I was paying $1,000 a month. And so I thought, well, okay, let's go ahead and master it then. Nope, I was way too stubborn. It took me about 6 months to finally say, okay, I will work on this thinking document that you think is going to change my life. And $6,000 later, tons of probably missed opportunity. We took that little document, and literally now 7 years probably later, I can't start a Monday without having this document in place. Because this document tells me when I put my feet on the floor Monday morning, what am I going to do? Okay. How many of you wake up knowing Monday morning exactly what you're going to do on Monday? Working on it. Okay. Me too. All right. There's no perfection up here. I'll tell you that. It's progress, not perfection. And yet when you wake up on a day and you already have it planned, what your priorities are, what your schedule looks like, how do you start that day? Yeah, what does better mean? Efficient? Say again? Motivated. You got it. Because Sam, if you don't have it planned out, how do you feel opposite than motivated?
Where do I start? Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Does anyone struggle with anxiety at times? Okay, I do. I do. Okay, I'm in a lot of different areas, a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. I have like 48 children with my husband, and there's just all these things going on, not really, just 4. And if I don't have a plan, the anxiety will creep up, and then what happens? You got it. You get stuck, you shut down, and you don't do anything at all. How many of you love that feeling? Exactly. It's great. So today is all about how to be on power, efficient, planned for the week. You know your purpose. So you start Monday ready to tear you know what up. Okay. So who's in for a few packed hours to get pretty passionate about all of your capabilities and potential? Good. Online, you ready? Woo. Ooh, I like it. All right, so you have this packet. It's in the chat box if you're just joining us. And we're going to flip through this slide deck. It also goes with the handout. So for those of you that are in the class, this is the handout, okay? All right, so Elizabeth could see some things that I couldn't see because life has just always been a little busy and chaotic. And yet I want to share with you, this is my binder. I carry it with me everywhere I go. My 411 goes right in the sleeve. Okay, this one document, which we're actually going to map one out today. We're going to write one. You're going to leave here with it. It goes in this sleeve on the front of my binder. It's a working document. I am using it, and here's why. Because on this one document lives all of those things. Okay? So in the packet is one that is provided. I'm actually giving you one that I like a lot better. It's from the onething.com website. Okay, it's the handout when you walk to the door, the loose one. Online in the chat box, it's the singular document that looks like this, just one page. Bless you, bless you.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. God bless you. So here's all of the things that go on my 1411 document, okay? My cute little family, my 4 babies. We have 4 kids, 13 and under. Yeah, tell me about it. We know it's we know what caused that. We're good. We're moving on. I get to serve as a real estate coach through something called the BOLD program. My husband and I run a team in the Tampa Bay area. Last year we did 70-ish million in real estate for 165 units. Okay. I'm a part of Title Alliance in this office. I'm a part of Dockside in this office. We own another title company in Tampa called Elite Title Network. We are a part of the profit sharing system. I have the opportunity to serve as the OP of KW Naples, KW Marco Island. I'm a Keller Williams University instructor. We're going to close at the end of the month on our 8th vacation rental property. And we are really dumb. We have a black lab that thinks that she's the center of all of those things that I just mentioned. She's the center of the universe. So anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell, all of the things that are whirling around in my brain. Now, on top of, we love to go to church. We love to take the boat out. We love to be at our kids' soccer games. My daughter is in theater and we love to go to her plays. Like there's all of these things that sometimes if we're not organized, we end up going through life and the big important things that we really think are important don't end up. They don't end up happening. And here's the question. Do we not have time for it or do we not allocate the time for it? Yeah, because how many of us know what it takes to be healthy? Yeah, and how many of us choose to make our health a priority by meal prepping, going to the gym in the morning? See the difference? We all have the ability. Okay, we have the same 24 hours in the day. What I would challenge you is you can have all of these worlds when you get organized and you have great leverage. Okay, many of you know my assistant Angela is amazing leverage. I have amazing leverage in our companies, through the leadership teams. You can do anything and be as involved as many things if you first are organized, you have the vision, and you have great leverage. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about today and what we're going to go over. I'm going to breeze through some of this because you guys don't seem like a really rowdy bunch. Okay, so I don't think you're going to be on your cell phone in the middle of class. And no, I'm just kidding. Here's what I will ask though. Number 10, who can read it for us? Have some fun. Okay, this is like heavy stuff. Potential, missed potential, opportunity, getting ourselves organized. Okay, some of it can be a little bit heavy, yet let's poke some fun. Let's have a good time. And what I will ask is that you participate. Nothing is worse than a 3-hour monologue. For me, okay? Like nothing is worse than that. So here's my intention today, that you literally leave with your June 411, that you have a product, you have a material. This is a safe place. It's an open like discussion forum. If I'm talking about something, stop me. Ask me a question like, would you do it this way or would you do it that way? That's what today is all about, okay? I want you to, this is like a workshop, okay? You're gonna leave with some good stuff. All right, so let's talk about the outline of our time together, okay? The first one is we're gonna gain perspective and take control. You know, Gary Keller starts every book, the MREA. I'm on page number 3. It looks like this. Our pages might be different. What's that page right here? Look at it one more time. What page number? 3. Oh, 3. Okay, super. I'm not lying yet, okay? It's page number 3 in your handout. Just kidding on that We're going to talk about gaining perspective and taking control. Gary Keller starts the MREA, the MREI. Thank you. Just one for me. It's okay. You can try.
You wanted them as examples.
Nope, you're good. He starts every single book with what? The tactical or the mindset?
Mindset.
You got it. 90. So here's what I'm going to ask too. When I say participate, take notes. Because when you sit down on Sunday to plan the next week or Friday afternoon, you're not going to remember it all. Okay, so write. Take notes as much as you can. 90% of your success is your mindset. 90% of whether you are a mega agent or you aren't is whether in between your ears you think you can be. That's it. Okay. Our mind determines 90% of our success. So we're going to start with that. We're going to gain some perspective, like why even bother doing this? You know, what's really on the line here. Then we're going to talk about how to set goals. We're going to talk about the importance of those goals with our favorite word, accountability. Who loves accountability? There was like the chuckles across the room. That was not actually my stand-up bit yet. I'm getting there. No, we perform better with accountability in all things. Okay. Do you think athletes have accountability? Yeah. Do you think I, as the owner of this company, have accountability to KW? Yeah. Do you think Morgan has accountability to me? Yeah. You better believe. Do you think Morgan has accountability to you? Look at her door. Look at the goals she tracks on her door. Look at the training calendar. Sam, like that just fills my heart. You said the training calendar here is getting better and better every single month. That is our accountability to provide you value. Okay. Accountability makes us all better. It's not always fun. And yet accountability provides a mirror that sometimes we don't like to hold up and look at ourselves. Would you agree? Yeah. We're going to actually create the 411 document. And then we're going to talk about all the secrets and ways that you can actually, number 4, implement it. Okay, which do you think is easier, creating it or implementing it? Ooh, we're like a split house. Creating or implementing? Is easier, I don't know, like reading a diet or actually implementing the diet? Oh, there we go. Now we have a unanimous decision. It's the implementation that can be really hard because what gets in the way? Life. Okay, many things get in the way. And then we're going to wrap up our time together, putting it all together with a little bow. There's some great stuff in here about energy, how to seize the day, when you're kind of in your peak performance zone. And I am going to be an open Q&A session, any question that you have for me. Okay, sound good? All right, so here's my question. Why in the world, 14 of us online, probably the same in the room, 30 of you, what did you come here for today? What did you intend to get before you leave so that I can make sure that we hit that? Unless it's something like on cryptocurrency, and then I'm probably not going to be the right person.
Organization.
Okay, so getting organized.
Learning how to set up a schedule, how to get.
Okay, set a schedule.
And actually follow it, go through and follow your schedule set.
Okay, follow the schedule. We're going to talk about all of those. I love it. What else? Okay, some motivation. We're going to start with that. One of my favorite things.
Just the basics of learning what you want to share with us and what you do because you have been.
Okay, so kind of, I love this saying I heard in Keller Williams, and it's success leaves clues. So like, what are the clues? You know, unlock it. And there's another thing, success is simple. It's just not easy. Like everything I give you today is going to be pretty simple. And somewhere along the lines, you're going to say, I've heard that before. Oh, I heard that before. So we will definitely talk about the clues of success. Okay, what else? Online, how about you? Why are you here?
Well, apparently we've been fooled.
Yes, yes. The sexy
Uh,
nugget
Just kidding, just kidding.
I love it.
Just to figure out where to even start.
Okay, where do we even start? And I am grateful that I had 6 months of pain and torture from my MAPS coach that I intend to kind of break down really in a simple level to talk about why would we even do this document? Okay, Angela, my assistant, if any of you ever engage with her, ask her, like, can Amber start Monday without a 411? And she will start Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. When are we doing your 411? 3 o'clock, when are we doing your 411? What is on your 411 this week? Because she knows if I don't wrap the week up, Monday's not gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna be like, oh God, what are we doing at 5 in the morning? Okay.
How
All
long
right.
does it take you to set this up, like on a Friday for your next week?
From now, probably 15 minutes. Okay, it didn't start that way.
Right, how long did it take when you first started?
Probably a good 30
At
minutes.
least.
Yeah, at least. We're gonna talk about what do you do on an annual basis, and then a monthly basis, and then a weekly basis. Because annually, Jared and I kind of lock ourselves up for 2 or 3 days. And we talk about each of those companies that I mentioned before, like, hey, what do we really want from this? Where are we going with all these things? We spend a few days working on that, which is our annual piece, and I'll show you how that flows right in to the top of the 411. And then we say, well, if that's our annual goal, what do we need to do each month to get to our annual? Okay, and then in order to be at our monthly, what must we accomplish each week to put that one foot in front of the other? So by the time you dial that in, and you guys, the job part for you is going to be pretty simple. It's appointments, it's listings, it's under contract, it's buyers. You're gonna have a goal. You're gonna say, am I there? Am I behind? Am I ahead of schedule? Do some quick math and boom, you've got that section. Now there's other business building pieces. Am I ready to hire an admin? Do I need to go to certain training? Am I ready for a buyer's agent? What do I need, what farming campaign am I doing? Which 36 touch? That stuff takes a little bit more time and effort, okay? All right, we've already talked about this. You're gonna participate, or I'm gonna really bore the junk out of you, okay? All right, so flip to page number, I'm not hitting every single one of these documents because this is actually a full day course, okay? And none of you want to stay here until 9 o'clock tonight, all right? So chapter 1, gaining perspective and taking control. In this chapter, we're going to talk about what really matters. Pop quiz time. As a real estate agent, what really matters? Lead gen, scripts, writing contracts, follow up, lead gen and lead follow up. Yeah, setting and going on the appointments. Class is over. Because what if you nailed those 5 things?
You've got it all. That's it. You're successful.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Nothing else matters. Okay, so really, that's the foundation for today. That is the pivotal point for today. Now, what did we not say? That's part of your job.
Do it consistently.
Say it one more time online.
Do it consistently.
Yeah, doing it consistently. Absolutely. We didn't say creating a website. We didn't say making your business card the sexiest one you've ever seen. We didn't say which CRM are you using if you choose not to use command. We didn't say your social media post. We didn't say, like, there's so many different things, okay? Social media is your lead gen. And there's a lot of things. We didn't say that blue square on your phone. What's that square called? Facebook. Look, the truth serum has already happened. How many of you spend time during the workday on that blue square? Yeah, we all do. Now, are you leveraging it for creating relationships and messaging, or are you scrolling?
Not as much as that should be.
Okay, I love it. We are telling the truth in the room because one is lead generation and the other is wasting time, precious, valuable time, okay? So we're gonna start by talking about this principle called the 80-20 principle. You just summarized what it is, okay? Pareto, a researcher from a really long time ago, 1848 to 1923, an economist, he discovered a pattern underlying pretty much everything in the economy. And he said the most income and wealth went to a minority of people. After testing his theory, so he thought, wow, like this small percentage of the world or the economy really controls 80% of the money. Would you say that that is still true today? Would you say that 20% is maybe even shrinking more and more, and they're controlling more and more, okay? And he thought, you know what, this 80-20 principle, I'm gonna test this in other areas, that 20% of what you do gives you 80% of your results, okay? So we already said that in real estate. 20% of what we do in real estate, lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, practice and role play. Those 20% give us 80% of our results. Would you agree? Okay, so I would, next to that 20% bar graph, I would write down those 5 things. Because on your 411 today, and then later in your schedule today, what are the things that move your business forward? Those, and really only those. Everything else is the 80%. And frankly, it can be noise. And if you want to cheat, look, it's hanging right in the room. Like, that's the best pop quiz, and the teacher has the answers hanging in the room. I love it. Lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, practice and role play, and negotiate contracts. The other 80%, which we already named, is email, doing the website. What else is it?
Sending letters, writing thank you notes.
Yeah, which that could be a form of lead generation. Okay, loving on people, golden letters, that's a form of lead gen. What else is it? Yeah, marketing as a whole, like the thinking behind it. Okay, what else? Oh, the behind the scenes planning is another piece. Okay, what else?
Touring individual communities.
Yeah, touring, learning about the market, attending a class and a training, going to Bold, maybe meeting with your coach, meeting with a mentor, learning. Those things are important. And yet, could I be a real estate agent and just pick up the phone and start knocking on doors and build a big business without doing all those things? Yeah, because that's the 20%. Okay. So where else? Here's a question that I really want to talk about this. And I love this statement right in the middle of the page, the truth. There's a pattern of predictable imbalance in life. Okay. It is called the 80-20 principle. Where else do you see this imbalance outside of just real estate? Their health. Okay. 20% of our decisions create 80% of the results with our health. What could those small decisions be? Yeah, drink a ton of water, reduce your alcohol intake, reduce sugar intake, reduce fats, you know, plan your meals. Actually go to a gym 4 or 5 days a week.
Be consistent.
Be consistent. Online already reminded us of that. Okay. Where else do you see this 80-20 principle?
Maybe in managing your home, your outside life.
Tell me more.
Like if you time block, I noticed that I kind of did the time blocking, and now a lot of the things that you used to have to do, I now do in the morning because I just wake up 30 minutes earlier, and then I can spend that time connecting with the kids instead of worrying about the monotonous tasks that have to be done.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So planning that day, working on your schedule, just doing that little thing gives you so much more results in your relationships. Okay. Think about your key relationships. you know, your spouse, your partner, a roommate, a parent. Think about the 80-20 principle with that. Making sure that they're a priority, okay? So putting them on the schedule, what else? I promise you 20% of what I do with my husband makes 80% of the results. A thoughtful love note, a text message, a call, not the 80% of, hey babe, what do you want to watch on Netflix tonight? I love you. Okay, and yet when you look at time, you know, how many of you have kids who have left home or kind of in the next few years are leaving home? Did a little,
Yeah, be intentional with them, be intentional, like, do the things that you enjoy.
do the things you enjoy, spend the time with them. Get dirt. I mean, I have so many back problems and my dumb self is up on that trampoline, jumping with them and playing because I know in 5 years, there's no one to jump on the trampoline. I'll take the Advil later and enjoy that moment with them. Okay, it does go fast. So why do you think most people don't live by the 80-20 principle?
Hard. There's too many distractions.
There you go. I want you to write that down. Distractions are everywhere. Distractions are everywhere. Time management. I'm on page number 9 in the packet. Time management forces you to focus on what really matters. Time management, spending that time to get yourself organized. It also allows you to write down these 2 words, work smarter. Work smarter. Now, here's the reality. The 20% is really what moves everything. Does the 80% just go away?
It kind of piles up if you don't do anything with it.
It piles up if you don't do anything with it. And yet, Sam, I want to go there for a minute. Here is my superpower. I will not, and you can ask the leadership team here, I will not do something I refuse if it is not in my 20%. I won't do it. And here's why. Because I've earned the right to behave that way. Because until you have enough time on your 20% and you're making enough money to hire leverage to do your 80%, guess who's in charge of the 80%? And you know what? I would write this down. This one little statement changed everything for me. A coach said it to me. You cannot lighten the load until you feel the weight of carrying it. You cannot lighten the load until you feel the weight of carrying it. Listen, you're 6 weeks into real estate and man, you're busy and you're like, oh, I could really use an assistant right now. Well, guess what? Based on the red light, you haven't earned the right to that assistant because there's a red light, green light model in the MREA that says until you're pacing that 2 or 3 deals, okay? Now, some people, listen, they're fully funded and they start this business and they have 12 months of reserves and they're going to invest in someone and take a big, take a risk and they start with that admin in place. That's an option. That's not the option that my husband and I did. Okay, we wanted the pressure. It's like that pressure cooker. I've got to succeed. I've got to sign the listing so that I can then hire the person that's going to take a lot of this burden from me. Okay. There are some benefits in doing that. So here's my question on this 80-20 principle. If you followed you online, you too, if you followed you around all day yesterday, and you were hiring you for a real estate agent, would you hire you or would you say, nope, I'll pass on that one?
I'd 100% hire myself if you would have seen me yesterday.
All right. Well, tell me more. What did you do?
I just got a lot done for a client that I got under contract Sunday. He needed to make a bunch of appointments. I got the I just got everything done. I got all the appointments lined up. We're good to meet Thursday. He's flying in. I relieved a bunch of his stress, and he tested me a few times. I could tell he was stressed and kind of poking at me, and I just overcame all that, got everything he needed done, and he's happy, and it's secure.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's money-making activities, yes or no? Yeah, and what's funny though, is out of 30 plus people, I didn't hear 30 people say, yeah, baby, I would hire me yesterday.
I'd hire myself yesterday, but not maybe the day before or the day before that. That's the problem.
Okay, as a coach, I would ask a coaching client this often, if Gary Keller was in your office yesterday watching you lead generate until noon, what would he have said about your lead generation? Sometimes I don't want to say it. I don't want to say, get your crap together, get on the phone, make more than 2 contacts if you're not happy with your business, okay? So sometimes that third-party validation, just blame it on Gary, okay? What would Gary have said about your lead gen session, okay? And yet, here's, I'm not picking at you guys, okay? There is something called, flip over to the next page, page 10, called the 50-50 fallacy. And here's what it is. It says doing a lot of things is never a substitute for doing the right things. Doing a lot of things is never a substitute for doing the right things. In our world, the phone, the messages, the Facebook, the social media, the email, all of the PTA emails, the mom, the soccer club, the field trips, the end of the year events. Like I feel like my children need their own party planner in this last month of school. It is out of control. And yet that's what the world tells us. 50-50, everything matters equally. And it doesn't. All these things are screaming for your attention. And yet, so look at it, like in our democratic society, we may assume the relationship between effort and results would be a 50-50 balance, and it's not. For example, events in our lives hold basically the same significance. Yeah, right. Ladies in the room who have kids, the day that kid was born, dads, like that moment is one. I mean, I remember the noises, the sound, the smells, that significance is so much. I couldn't tell you if I ate lunch yesterday. I don't remember because it just wasn't significant. And we have that same opportunity day in and day out at work to make our days full of significance or to get consumed in the 80% and never move forward at the pace in which we choose.
I have a question for you. So how do you have your kids are going to be done school here in the next month or so? How do you balance that when they are home expecting you to be home, or around? Like my girlfriend, she's in school right now. When she's off, she thinks she's off, I'm off. That's really not. Can you come to the beach? Can you do this? How do you balance that?
So 2 things. The first one is, do you have a shared goal with her? So with our kids, we constantly were doing shared goals. You guys, mom and dad are in this class called Bold. And when we take 20 listings during Bold, we are all going on a Disney cruise in the spring. Or do you want to do a vacation to New York and see the big buildings? Like we would create this shared goal and we get them all excited. And we'd say, however, what it looks like though is this. We're not both going to be at your soccer game probably. Dad might be or mom might be because one of us is going to be doing an open house. I might be working later than I typically am home for dinner, okay? And then I get their buy-in on it. Without having that shared goal, like our kids understand mom and dad are super busy. We remind and make connections for them often when they are like, I say, that's okay. You can transfer and you can go to public school. Because if I'm home, being full on mom, we do not have the money to send you to your little small private school that you absolutely love. So you help us make the choice. Like you are our child. We love you so much. Okay, if you want us to sell it all and be home and be focused, that's fine. We'll just have to sell our house. We'll have to move over to this place. And we're gonna have a very different lifestyle. I think there is so much power in that as a parent to have these conversations with our kids.
They understand. They get it.
They do. They make a connection between the sacrifice and the focus mom and dad have.
Oh, they get that ride, whatever, vacation, so like my kids, they want to go home. It's somewhere, they haven't been home.
Yes.
So it's like, you guys, mommy has long days, long hours
Yeah.
now doing this, but in the end, you guys want to go home for Christmas and see the snow, we're gonna, okay.
You got it.
So you just have to have that conversation.
And then take it to the next level, okay? So going home and seeing the snow means how many closings? And then how many appointments? And then when you get home every day, I want them asking you, Mommy, this week, have you set your 2 appointments? Oh, you laugh. You know who is the best at holding you accountable?
Your kids.
Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are.
Especially the older they get.
Oh, yeah, they get it. They get it.
How old are your kids?
13, 13, 9, and 7. Yeah, twins. It is neat to now see the 13-year-olds planning their day the next day. I did a post last week on social media. My son, who's 13, Jackson, said, Mom, can I sleep with you? My husband was gone traveling. Can I sleep with you tonight? And I was like, sure, buddy, you okay? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm good. And next thing I know, he's got this Post-it note out and he's writing these things. Mom, what is 70 divided by 5? And I'm doing the mental math with him and he's writing. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm going to get up with you tomorrow at 5. So that gives me extra time in my workout. And I can do chest, I can do buys, I can do tries. I'm just figuring out how much time for each. And I'm thinking, you are 13. I think I was reading like Teen Bop magazine, picking my nose. Like I don't remember ever being like this. And then I'm sitting next to him and he says, he's got headphones on. Alexa, set the timer for 2 minutes. Alexa, set the timer for 2 minutes. And he's like, pulled his little thing over. And at first of all, I was like, okay, you're in my bed and like you have a whole thing going on over here. What's happening? And he said, oh no, this is my every 2 minutes. He's got this like squeezy thing that's hand strength. And then he moves it to the other hand. And he's like doing all this. It is mind blowing. They can tell you like where they're going and what they're doing. And I'm not taking credit. And yet it's not taught as a parent, it's caught. Like I can't teach them these things. They just see it. They catch it. They watch you, you know, and anyway, sorry, that was like a really proud moment and kind of weird at the same time. Because I was definitely not that kid. Okay. So we've laid out what is the 80-20 principle. The world fights with us. They want to say everything matters equally. It doesn't, you know, it's all good. Just take the emails as they come in. You don't need to be purposeful. Like, you know, what's that like? Laissez-faire, like just whatever, it's all good. No, it's not. We have a finite amount of time and we want to do big things. We have to be on purpose with our time, okay? Online, can you see this video?
I can't see a video yet.
Okay, do you see it on the screen though?
On your, no,
I can see it.
maybe my view's wrong. Hold on.
I can see it.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay, super. Oh, I just messed something up. as my kids would say, get a room, gross. No, I love it. All right, what did you see in the video? Okay, he started out backwards, and what does that mean? What did you see? He did it wrong the first time. What was he trying to do? Put in first the,
Trying to prioritize.
yeah, so it's symbolic of prioritization, and how did he mess it up the first time?
Just little stuff out of the way and not introduce it.
Good.
Did the little things first that weren't necessarily important and left the big ones out.
You got it. Okay. This is a leadership. This is a business foundational belief, and it is, you have it on page number 11. It's identify your big rocks. Okay. What matters the most in life. Okay. We've already identified the big rocks in real estate, the lead gen, lead follow-up, all of that. What are some other of your big rocks in your life?
Family.
Family, I love it. So key relationships, write that one down, key relationships. Yeah, your health care, like your personal self, so whether it's prayer, meditation, yoga, exercise, like you, time for you. Okay, what else is important to you?
Lifestyle.
Your lifestyle and fun, enjoying things. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Yeah, time that you enjoy spending at home, working on your home, like that's something that brings you joy. Okay. Hobbies, I love it. What are those? Like when the kids leave? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Playing golf, I love it. For me, it's the boat, the beach. Those are hobbies. Fitness is a hobby. What else?
Investing.
Investing. So money, finance, that should be something that you plan around. A chunk of the conversation for sure. What else?
Are there like future goals, like way away, or is it stuff that you're kind of looking at right in front of you?
Right now. Okay. Here's a great, the book, The One Thing. If you haven't read it, I believe it's on page 113. There's a graphic and it shows 7 circles. And they are all of the really important things to have a full life. Because oftentimes when we do a plan, what are we planning around?
Vacation.
Well, you're fun, because mine are never that. It's usually like, oh, what's the business? And what are the business things I need to do? Okay. A lot of times we can plan around listings and buyers and under contract, and yet we don't have a plan for our physical health, our spiritual health, which is also our mental health. We don't have a plan around key relationships. And so we're planning to have a big business. And then what happens with all those other things? They go to the wayside. Okay. They get lost. And who cares if you have a big life if everyone in your world thinks she doesn't ever spend time with me? If you're out of shape, you don't have your health. Okay. Gary Keller talks about these as different balls that you are juggling all the time. And a few of them are made of glass. Which ones would be made of glass? Mm-hmm. Yeah, your key relationships, your health. Okay. I think I've shared with several of you, my dad had a pretty massive stroke November of 2019, and it was really related around food choices and eating. I mean, he loves some biscuits and gravy and some sausage, and he enjoyed those things, and unfortunately, it's taken a lot of his enjoyment of life. It's changed many things for him. That glass ball, when it's put back together, there's chunks missing. Okay. There's a quote on page number 11, and I just want you to circle it. It's really powerful. Time equals life. Therefore, waste your time and waste your life. Or, this is really exciting, read it with me. Master your time and master your life, okay? Flip over to page number 12. You've already jotted some of those down, so we don't need to redo them here. I would like you, we talked really generally. I want you to be specific on these personal big rocks and business related ones. I want you to be specific to you and write those down, okay? So for me, it might be a big rock is my physical health, and I choose to work out 5 days a week. My spiritual health is important to me. I want to meditate, pray, spend time in the Bible daily. My key relationships, I want to go on a date once a week with my husband. Once a month with my kids. What are your big rocks? Take a minute and write them down on page 12 and be ready to share a few of them. Maybe some of your big rocks are around having a certain net worth or certain number of investment properties or an ancillary business around real estate. Like, what are the big things you're working on? Maybe it's a coaching program. Maybe it's giving back to the community. All right, so share with us online, in the room, what are some of those things you jotted down really quickly?
I want to run a 5K.
Run a 5K, I love it.
Yeah. that's 6, so.
Yeah, they can. They can. We are going to speak that into existence. They can. What else?
After always being a stay-at-home mom, just a career in general.
Good. So being a career mom. I love it. Like, you can be a great mom and have a career. We can talk all day on that one. Okay. Don't listen to sometimes what Pinterest in the world tells you. You can do both. Okay. Can't do everything. You can do the most important. Okay. What else? What are your big rocks?
Another one of mine, just my goals for the year. Some of the things you said, like goals for the year, spiritual goals, exercise goals, goals for your family, goals for your business, goals for yourself. Each month, just like your 401, checking in with that, but your goals as a whole in your life.
So being a goal-oriented person and having goals in the most important areas of your life, like that for you is a big rock. Just getting that piece organized, getting yourself organized, okay, and saying what is important. Here's a question that I want to ask you, and it probably might not feel good. Are you okay if I push a little bit? If I ask you to pull out your calendar for last week, would I see time blocked in your calendar specifically for those things you just wrote down? Okay, so we've got a mixed bag. Online, what about you guys?
Yes.
Good.
Some
So,
of it, not all of it.
okay. So did we run for the 5K? Did we train? Did we walk?
So I, yeah, and I have that all the way.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, some of it is. in there, just not-
Okay. So working on the consistency, you got it. This document becomes this truth serum. I'm asking you this stuff right now. This document's going to be asking you in the future. Okay, the 411. Here's the other question. I know sometimes I will say, I want to make sure that my husband and I go on a date once a week. I want to make sure that I take, 2 different kids each month out on a date. We do something fun. My daughter and I go get our nails done. I go to my son's, take him to drive race cars or remote control cars, like something, okay? I can say those things, and yet if I don't actually put them in my schedule first, put my big rocks, like we saw in the video, in my schedule first, what happens?
Doesn't get done.
It doesn't get done, and here's why. Hey, can you go to dinner with us this night? Hey, can you sign up for this thing? Hey, can you attend this thing at church? Hey, can you do this thing? Hey, can you? I fill up the 80% of all of those things on my calendar, and I look up and say, oh, crap. I didn't take Brayden to ride horses this month. I did a lot of stuff. Like, how many of you put a good 40 hours into the work week every week? 24 hours in a day. Okay, you sleep maybe a little bit. We're all spending the time. It's just, are we spending it on what we say is a priority? That's our opportunity. Okay. So how do we make that change from kind of the easy way of doing life? Sure, I can go to that thing. I can do this. How do we make that change? And say, no way, it's going to be in my calendar. I'm doing the big rocks. Put pen to paper, and first of all, plan it and say what's important. Do you guys know about the Harvard study that basically Sam just quantified, like all of this millions of dollars of research? There's a study in Harvard. These kids are graduating, a pretty decent school, Harvard University, right? They're graduating, and on graduation day, the person interviews them and says, so tell me about your goals after graduation. 84% of them said, like, I don't know. How many of you after graduation, you were in that group? Yeah, didn't know. That was me. I was like, what do I do now? What is this sheet of paper? Where are all my fun sorority parties? Why am I growing up? What's happening here? Okay. So 84% said they did not have anything. 10% said they had goals. They knew them in their brain. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then like 5% had them written down. 5% had them written down, pen to paper. 10 years later, those 5% had made more than the other 95% combined. Oh, wait, what does that go back to that we've already covered today? The 80-20 principle, it's alive everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. So it's flip to page number 13. This is a skill. It's a business success character trait, and it is called moving from E to P. It's changing how you operate, because what you have done up until this point has gotten you to where you are at right now. And if we would like to be somewhere else, we've got to make some changes. Okay. So it's called moving from E to P, which stands for entrepreneurial to a purposeful style of operation. Okay. How many of you are full of great ideas? I can do the YouTube page. Ooh, that's cool on Facebook. Oh, look at Luxury Alliance. Like, they're doing all these neat things on social media. Like, let me do this. Like, how many of you, that's you? The ideas flow. Okay, so which is that? That's the easy. That's the entrepreneurial. Okay, that's what you are naturally gifted with doing. Now, something switches, though, when you get on purpose. Purposeful looks and sounds very different. Okay. When you live in entrepreneurial, what do you inevitably do? You hit a, take your hand, friends, take your hand and do this. Hit it hard, like really hard. Yeah, really, hit yourself. What's that called? Yeah, the ceiling of achievement. It is a plateau. Same thing, okay? If you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's actually the definition of insanity. I didn't say it. You did. Yes, Einstein said it. Blame it on him. He's way smarter than me. In order for us to move to the next level, we've got to do some things differently, and that's why you're here today. Okay, so I want you to take a second and look over this next page. And I'm gonna ask you to help explain some of it, okay? It's this, what's on the big screen right now. You have it on page number 14. Take a minute and look over that graphic.
You wind up at the ceiling.
Mhm. And then you end up going back down, and then you go back up and you hit it again.
So would this be like starting real estate at
Mhm.
doing your lead gen, when I first started, I was doing everything that I could every day. I hit that ceiling where I got my first 2 transactions at the same time. I was on top of the world, at least I felt like it. Then I went 2-3 months with nothing, and the lead gen started to kind of fall off a little bit, and I was like, the heck am I doing? And then rock bottom would be right here, where you're like, now what am I doing? Now I'm spending more money than I'm making, and then you get a few more transactions, but you're not continuing to do your lead gen, and then you
Yep.
just hit absolute rock bottom. Is that kind of what this graph is saying?
You nailed it. What's the roller coaster of real estate? No, I'm just kidding. I won't sing too many more times. Everything in my brain is a 90s song. Usually rap music. I'm sorry. It's that roller coaster. We are on this constant roller coaster until we choose to do something different. Okay. And then typically what happens? What's the fourth or the third part of that phase? No, the third part. I'm sorry. Greener pastures. When you ride that roller coaster so many times of, wow, let me work really hard, get business. Ooh, let me work all these deals. Oh crap, I didn't lead gen for a month. I have no deals. You finally say at some point, I'm gonna go back to my, oh, you're like good students. Most people, this is why we have a massive turnover in real estate, say, I'm gonna go back to a 9-to-5 job where I know I'm gonna have a paycheck. That is not a choice. Write down the word decide. Oh, I love this. Write down the word decide. Do you know literally what that means? It means to kill off all other options. Like genocide, that's the part of the word. Literally, it means, and you've made that decision. Like there is no other option. I am doing this. And yet, do you think that's common? No, it's not. Okay. Because some people will say this is going from easy to painful. I don't want to be on purpose. Okay. Because who can share with me a little bit about the top part of the diagram? What do you see on the top part? Getting on purpose is what?
Trying harder, putting in more effort in different areas that you haven't before, like the coaching classes.
Okay, so it's looking for systems. It's looking for models. Okay. Shout out for me your closed unit goal for this year. 20.
24.
24. 53. 15. Okay. Here's what I should see. You are interviewing someone every single month that has done 20 units. That you are interviewing someone every single month that has done 50 or more units, 15 or more units. You guys want to know the proof in the pudding? You said success leaves clues. We want to see the clues. Today, on my drive back, I have an interview scheduled on my calendar. What do I have at 3 o'clock?
Chad St.
Chad St. Jean. Chad St. Jean, if you look in the Keller Williams universe, he is a millionaire market center owner. His market center makes $1 million in net profit. He's on my calendar because I don't want to live in entrepreneurial. I don't want to just creatively run this market center. You guys are way too important to do that. I want to know What are you doing, Chad St. Jean, that I can learn from you? What strategic options, what models, what systems do you have in place? And then I have a coach, Matt Teeter, that holds me accountable to actually performing that. That is how you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful, okay? Flip over to the next page. I want you guys to divide up, okay? Online, I'm gonna have you work on this one. How can you be purposeful with how you return emails? All right, online, you got me? How can you be more purposeful with how you return emails? Okay, this side, so Sam's side of the room, we are gonna do, how can you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful with how do you return your phone calls? Our phones ring all day long. There's a way to be more purposeful to return those phone calls, okay? How can this section, okay, let's actually do both of these. How can we be more purposeful with how we identify who we're going to call for lead generation? How can we be more purposeful, okay? So what the point of this activity, and you have some space on page 15 to kind of write this out. Right now, you are returning emails, you're returning phone calls, and you are getting ready for lead generation in whatever way comes naturally, probably, okay? How can you be more on purpose in those 3 areas that I just mentioned? Okay, there's no wrong answer, just how can you be more purposeful? So think of a system, a model. How does a top agent return emails? How does a top agent return phone calls? Think about who's been there before you. Take about 2 or 3 minutes and then we will share and then we'll take a break. Okay? All right, take 2 or 3 minutes. You guys kind of turn and connect. Rock and roll, come back. Let's come back together. Thank you, Patricia. All right, online. How do you think we can be more purposeful in the way that we return emails?
Time block, time each day. Switch
Good.
crazy.
Good, so put apart time each day. You know, I'm gonna return emails between 11 and 12 and 4 and 5, okay? What happens when you do that? Yes, you don't look at your email constantly. And what tends to happen when you engage with email like that? Yes, you get lost in it if you're constantly looking at it. Okay, there's so much research on it. Actually takes about 20 minutes after a distraction to get back plugged into productivity. So imagine every notification, every email, every ding. Here's one piece of recommendation: turn all notifications off on your phone outside of a text message. Okay, those are I actually get twice a day. Your iPhone can do this. And I 2 times I chose, I think it is 11 and 4. It gives me a bulk notification. So I just click on it and it's all the notifications that came in between those windows of time. I don't want to see them all day long. Just, I mean, how many times do I need to know the Amazon guy's showing up? No, it's not text messaging. It's just anything that you have set up to get a notification on, if you choose to have them, okay? So that's another way. Okay, here's what else happens. The emergencies figure themselves out. The other agent that has emailed you about where is the addenda or the attachment actually then goes to the MLS and pulls that off for themselves.
Imagine that.
And that shocker, hello. Okay, what else happened? Yep, so you lose a ton of time if you don't engage that way. Okay, I love it. Anybody else online? Email, how can you be purposeful? All right, how about returning phone calls? How can we be more purposeful?
First of all,
Just time block.
when you're going to return those calls, whichever ones you missed throughout the day.
Okay.
And then obviously you want to like prioritize them most important.
Okay, hold on. I want to go back to the first thing you said. How much time do you time block to return emails and phone calls?
You're going to get them all done. It's a trick question.
Until you get them all done? Yes, and well, here's the piece. So if you call my voicemail right now, it says, thank you so much for calling me. Our hours of operation are from this time to that time. I return calls daily between this time and that time. I look forward to making your call the best call of my day. If you need immediate assistance, please call my office where our team is happy to help you, okay? So I have you teach people how to treat you, right? I have that voicemail in place. However, if you block a certain amount of time to return phone calls and emails, how do you think you're going to return them? Yes, so in a prioritization order, who's closing first? Who is a listing that actually needs signs? There's a priority rank in which you return phone calls. What else does it make you do? Here's an example. The day before you leave for vacation, how much do you have to get done?
Whole lot.
Whole lot. And do you get it done?
I take my computer with me.
No! The class has gone crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, you knock it out because I'm going on a cruise boat for 7 days. If I don't actually take the dog to the sleeping palace, like he doesn't go anywhere and he dies in my house, you get it done, okay? When you set a certain amount of time to return emails and phone calls, you return them in an expeditious manner. You don't let that seller keep you on the phone for 40 minutes. You know what? That's a great question. Let me call the title company. I have an appointment at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to look to get that answer and get back to you before then. Okay. I look forward to returning your phone call in about 20 minutes. Okay. Gotta go. You have a purpose to your conversations. You have a purposefulness around you. How many of you sit there and think, oh my gosh, this person is stealing my entire day from me? Yeah. Well, guess what? It's your fault.
You have to be tactful and tell them, hey, I'd love to chat with you. I have another appointment that I've got to run. Let me get back with you. And that's like one of the hardest things for people that are relationship holders. Because we want to stay and chat and be who we are.
If I have somebody that I know is really chatty, I won't talk to them until I have that time to do it.
Yeah.
Or want to, unless of course. But yeah, I definitely have, because I allow it too often to look the other way.
Yep. And it doesn't feel good because the time you're spending with them is time that you aren't doing something that you had intended to. So there's some other tricks. You don't call that person until you are literally in the car driving to the appointment. And so you have a hard stop. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you answered. I have an appointment at 5 o'clock. I can't wait to connect with you until then. Let me get that answer and get right back to you. See how I'm framing everything in what's in it for them. What's in it for me is the radio station everyone's listening to, WIFM. What's in it for me? If I can frame it in, you know what? Let me go find that for you. Let me hang up. I'm going to go call the title company. I'm going to get that figured out. I'm going to circle back to you before my 5 o'clock appointment. That shows I'm working for you and I care, and yet I'm moving at a clip. I'm moving at a pace. Okay. Anything else about returning phone calls? Block the time, a prioritization system, okay?
All by the end of the day, at least.
Yeah, call by the end of the day, set an expectation around how you return phone calls. What else?
What about like at home, if we have something you don't, like we have might turn to argument, we put a time limit on how long you're allowed to talk about it. What if you had some sort of a time limit that you try to, as you go on, you figure out about how long an average conversation should it be, and then when you get to that point, then that's when you try to pull out one of these.
Yep. So top agents typically lead generate for about 2 hours a day, and the intention is to talk to between 10 and 20 people. So if you start working the math, you can think, hey, my conversation should be around 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And remember, there's going to be some dialing time in between, and yet everything you should have some expectation around time in your mind. If you don't, it controls you, remember, and we want to master time. Yes.
So are you just is this a forward conversation where you're talking to them about relationships work, or whatever, you're just saying hi?
It's different. So if your lead generation is around relationships and it's on the phone, those conversations, if you haven't had them in a while, are going to be longer than that. However, you can balance that with Facebook Messenger. Oh my gosh, I just saw Johnny won the soccer tournament in Boynton Beach. How was your trip out there? I keep meaning to go to the other coast. Did you stay anywhere cool? That's a Facebook Messenger, super quick, 30-second, and yet it's still a contact, a connection. Okay, so sometimes you can kind of balance that out if you know.
Not necessarily that phone call, and if you're doing this frequently with these people, then it's not.
No. So I have the blessing of driving back and forth every week to Tampa. So our class ends today at 2 o'clock. So my drive back, and you don't have to say the names, yet here's May 17th. Do you see names of agents in our office?
Yep.
Are they top agents in our office? So this is my time block. The top agents in our office, they're my crew, they're my people. I got to make sure I'm pushing their business, stretching them. How are you doing with your wealth building? And giving them the time, okay? Because really the top agents in the office create 80% of the results in the business, okay? So that's where, as the owner, I spend my time, okay? Yet that's my drive time. What else would I be doing? Jamming out, listen to some good music. And I will do that sometimes. Sometimes you do have to, cut loose a little bit. However, this allows me to leverage drive time. Okay. Online, any thoughts, questions about what we talked about? All right, we're going to wrap up with our last one, lead generation. How can you be more purposeful about your lead generation and who you're calling?
Say all of them? Or sure. Okay. So one of them was if you are farming or working in specific areas, spending time to really research it.
Okay.
Know more about it to add in something. She said that by fall, she organizes it by letter.
Okay, so here we go. Now we got a system. Remember, E to P, purposeful is the system. So we organize our calls by letter. Okay, you guys will laugh. I called Denny Grimes yesterday, and he texted me back, thank you, and this and that. And then he said, hey, it just struck me the DTD2, which is a system for calling 2 letters to the database, he said is on G this week. I said, love you, buddy. No, anyway, I said, I wish I was that good. No, Denny, I'm just calling to check in with you. Anyway, so a system, okay, which letters am I calling? Okay, what else?
And one thing you can do is, we were saying that you figure out, make sure you're on top of all of your lead generation activities and have a handle on what your top 2, 3, 4 are.
You got it.
And then go into those top 2 and really refocus on them.
Okay. Can I challenge you? You should have a lead generation calendar, and it is a monthly calendar, and it is mapped out based around your top 3 or 4, maybe even 5 if you want to push it. It really could be 2 or 3. Biggest ROI lead generation sources for you. Number 1 is probably your database. So I want to see in the month of May, who are you calling in your database? And if it's DTD2, it's easy. I'm calling A and W, B and E. These are the letters, first letter of the person's last name. Okay. I'm calling these people specifically. Here's the number of people that I am calling every single day. Here's the number of text messages I am calling. Okay. What else should I see in your lead generation calendar? Well, you said the farming piece. So maybe that there's door knocking in the farming area. What else?
Well, like the lead generation is events, getting your events,
Yeah.
getting prepared for your event.
So we should see whatever is on your 36 touch. Okay, your 36 touch includes your events. It includes your follow-up quarterly calls. It includes your monthly newsletter. It includes all of those things. You should have that planned out in November, December for the following year. So that when you put your feet on the ground, May 1st, you already know, like, here's my list, here's who I'm calling, this is what I'm doing. Because guess what happens? 80% of plans that are written actually get executed just because you spent the time to write them down. And yet we start the May 1st with, oh, here's my phone. Who looks good to call? You're gonna call Aunt Betty, like for the 14th time. Aunt Betty, who do you know? Oh, come on, Aunt Betty, I love you. And then you're never gonna call. Jared and I have so many stories. I mean, I could bore you or make you laugh of us doing DTD2 and taking the phone number that's in our thing and calling a flat out stranger. Typically, it's probably an agent that was on our team that ended up leaving, and they worked them from an open house or one of our leads. You know, we've never talked to them. And we call and say, hey, this is Amber from the Rutherford group. It's been a while since you've been searching on our website, and I just wanted to see, did you end up purchasing a home? Is there anything that we can be helping you with? And they'll say, that is so funny. I have been looking for who that real estate team was that I talked to last year. Oh, well, it was us, of course. Who knows? And perfect strangers end up turning into listings, turning into buyers, because it's called call bias. That lead generation calendar removes what we refer to as call bias. Call bias means you just call who you like to call.
Do you put in the calendar the name of the person that you have to call? Is it a list of, okay, I'm calling this guy, this guy?
No.
No.
In the week before, yes. Not in that actual plan. Like we have it on our team, a lead generation calendar, and it's January, A and W, B
Oh,
and
okay,
E.
gotcha.
Now, the week before, the prep work is, okay, who is actually going in the dialer? Who's actually covering, you know, calling these different people? The specificity comes a little bit later.
So whoever pops up at that age, it's not like it's a person who start marketing. Like,
No. Just, I mean, our database has thousands. If it's a lot smaller, could you? Yeah, I mean, well, here's my lead gen plan. Were there names on that? There's very specific names at a specific time. And I know if I don't make that phone call, then I've got to take them and drag them over in my calendar. Okay, and do I enjoy doing that? No, that is not a fun feeling. Okay, more on that in a little bit. All right, we are
Do
gonna.
you do that during lead generation, or is that kind of getting ready for next week, its own time block?
That is usually for me like a Friday afternoon.
So it's its own time block.
Yep.
You do your lead gen in the morning and then separately have blocked off the time to prepare for your call.
Yep, every Friday afternoon, there's my phone has a calendar reminder that says 411 time block, lead gen, goal setting for next week. Every Friday afternoon, I get a reminder to sit down with this sheet of paper, okay? All right, we are gonna take a 10-minute break. For those of you that are online, I'm really sorry to say this right now. For those of us in the room, grab a plate of pasta, grab a salad, go heat it up in the microwave. Online, it looks really awful. I promise it's not good. It's very bad. But we will be back in 10 minutes. So right at 12:40. 12:42.
Friday afternoon.
Recording. Love it. It's like a magical unicorn in the sky, a Zoom room. I love it. All right. So our first section was really about mindset, getting your mind right around things do not all matter the same. Okay. Our 80-20 principle, what is really important, prioritizing, and also, what's our last one? Moving from E to P. Okay. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. So based on what we just did, that activity, what other purposeful systems do you think you're missing right now that you need to work on? Shout them out.
Well, for me personally, I started a home watch business and I've gotten everything done for it, and I just haven't gotten it approved by the county. So I'm kind of slacking on that, but once I get that done, that could be a system I can use for lead gen. I mean, it's a long game, but it's a lead gen system.
Okay, so we need to create a system around that. Okay, what other systems?
Just the time blocking in general that we're gonna work on today.
Create a system around time blocking. Okay, what else?
I just need to be better about creating or whatever standard we need to
Good.
make sure that I'm doing that consistently.
I want you to think about everything in your life on purpose. So for me, it's how many dates with my kids, how many dates with my husband, what time am I waking up, how many days a week am I working out. This is how systematized I was. Yesterday I was talking to Morgan and I said, Morgan, guess what I came up with? She's like, oh geez, what now? And I said, I made a perfect month calendar at a market center. Because like you guys have a perfect calendar for lead generation in a month, there are things that happen at a market center. We create a training calendar every month. We do transmittal. We do a post-transmittal meeting. We have an ALC meeting. We do care calls and love on our agents. We have team meeting. We have the sales rally, the business meeting. We have accountability meetings. Like all these things happen in the perfect month at a market center. And yet, are they written somewhere down on a system in one place that at the beginning of the month you can say, all right, here we go, team. This is our plan. Not that I've ever seen. Maybe it exists. I don't know. And so I thought, let me put a system around it. Okay. Systematizing. How do you eat healthier? How do you do meal preparation? How do you use a meal delivery service so you spend less time cooking and more time with your family? I don't know. There are systems around everything to get more out of life. Okay. So our next section, chapter number 2, page number 19 in our handout, is talking about setting goals with accountability. So before we start, I want to learn kind of a baseline. How do you set goals? Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the year, I just did white sheets of paper and first think of what areas of my life I even want to have goals in. And at the top of each sheet, I write back, exercising, personal, whatever have you. And then I list out the things that are in my head and then put on my desk and try to add to it. And then I use that as, I have like checklists for each day. So like one thing is I want my kids to have a green drink every day. So like that's on the checklist.
Okay.
And then you go and like make the actual schedule and then put it in there. So like sometimes in the morning when I'm so half asleep and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I just go to my schedule and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be on the this year. And you use your goals to then fill in your checklist in your day.
Do you want to hop up here and teach with me or what?
I'm just neurotic.
No, that's not neurotic. That's using time to be on power. And really, that's simplistically what we're doing today. Taking sheets of computer, white paper, saying physical health, here's my goals around it, and then actually taking that and creating a schedule or a plan around it. That's the Harvard Business Study. That's the 5%.
Oh, I wish I graduated.
I was like, insert my middle name is gullible. Okay. No, that's the system that most people don't have in place. Okay. How else do you create goals?
At the end of the year, I do my business plan, and then I go, oh, let's see, what did I do last year? Oh, let's pump that up a little bit. And that's what I do.
Good.
And somehow it always works out.
Good.
Because I'm not very organized.
So you put your RAS on power, your reticular activating system in your brain and said, this is what's important to me. And it just went and found it. Okay, that's not an accident.
Okay.
That's brain research.
That's kind of how I don't know, I've always looked at it.
Yeah, so one, we write it down. We have some time carved out. Okay, what else?
Physical goals, I compete with my girlfriend, so we write them down, same way, you write down, let's say you have 5 goals you want to hit for this month.
Okay.
And we see who can hit those 5 goals first, and obviously her goals are different than my goals, but we have 5 similar goals, and then we see the competition.
So I want to connect back to what you said earlier. What if you did that around financial goals the same way?
Right.
Do you think it could be a little bit different?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love it. So the biggest thing about setting goals are to set them, read the back line on the room.
Bigger, think big.
Bigger. Okay, Gary Keller says, think big, aim high, and act bold. Okay, oftentimes people set really, really small goals because they're comfortable, they're easier, they're attainable. And Gary says people grossly overestimate what they can do in 1 year and grossly underestimate what they can do in 5. Okay. And the goal is to set these big, I call them big, hairy, audacious goals. Okay. BHAGs. And that is, set a goal for Mount Everest. Because even if you make it to base camp, is that a feat in itself? Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes in our society, we don't see that. Okay, where do you see that? Ultra runners, marathon, endurance. Okay. Here's something, and we're not going to spend a ton of time here. Here's what I want to show you how much I believe in this. Online, you can see this. I carry this around with me everywhere. And when I'm planning each month, okay, and spending time, it has my, and you have this on page number 20. It has my someday goals, like way out in the future, crazy big, amazing, huge, awesome, debt-free, multi-millions in net worth goals, okay? Retired, I'm in a fitness competition. What do you even call them? I don't know.
Like a bodybuilding?
There you go. I'm in a bodybuilding competition. At the rate I'm going, I'll be in the Grandmaster division. Some of you will get that joke. So my someday goals, and then 5, 3, and 1 year goals. Okay. What do I have to do in 5 years to accomplish someday? What do I have to do in 3 to accomplish 5, and 1 to accomplish 3, and so on? Okay. So I carry this around with me everywhere. And my someday goals are 30 properties at an average of $500,000 each, okay, which would be $15 million in properties. That we have our trust set up. That needs more clarity around that. We have 20 million in net worth, so the other 5 is coming from liquid assets and investments, like the actual stock market, not fund these days. We have a primary house on the beach, like our primary residence is on the beach. I want to look at the water. I want the dolphins dancing, like that's what I want to see every day. That we are funding adoptions for worthy families, that we vacation on a different continent each year, and we have a trust for each child's families and charities, different charities that we support, okay? So I look at these someday goals. Are they big? They make me like super excited and a little nervous, okay? Here's where I want to show you the power in doing this, okay? This is one that I did on the left-hand side. To see the somedays at the top, 5, 3, and 1 year goals, okay? Many of these things have been already accomplished, and I wrote this 4 years ago. Many of the someday goals have already been accomplished. How do you think that's even possible? Because then they sounded like these sound now. Back then, those sounded so crazy. I was like, I can't believe I'm writing this. This would be amazing. Okay. How do you think that happened, that those someday goals have been accomplished? Yep, activated, just like you said. Yep, the RAS was activated. So Gary Keller's top 100, guess what? We're in it. Ownership in 3 market centers. All right, well, I've got some work to do. It's only 2. And vacation in Europe, done it. Boat club. Well, I'm not in the boat club. We actually own one. It's really pretty. Okay. All of these things were written many years ago or a few years ago, and many of them have already accomplished. Well, I've done a marathon. I've done a half marathon, not in the time that I desired. Okay. My body did not cooperate as much as I would like it to. Own a beach house. We have one. Okay. The power is what? You guys, I carry this binder with me everywhere I go. So if I'm on an airplane, I'm looking at it. I'm planning with it. I'm saying, so my husband said something to me a week or 2 ago, and I said, wait a second. I thought we all agreed, like we all, me and you, agreed that we were doing these things. Has the plan changed? Like, are we not doing this anymore? And that's fine. I just want us to be on the same page. This is like our true north. This is our directional beacon, okay? I could sing some Jimmy about that, I won't. These are the things that we said are super important to us, our whys, where we're going in this life, okay? The power in having this written down is just, like, I can't put it into words, okay? Outside of the ones on the paper. What I want you to do right now is on page number 20, I want you to do this for your professional goals, okay? What are your someday goals in your business? I'm on page number 20, someday goals. Do you want to have a team that closes 100 units, 500 units, an expansion team? I don't know, okay? Do you want to net $1 million from that team? Do you choose to make 50,000 a year in profit share? Like, what are your someday goals for your real estate business? Okay, what are they? Take a minute and write that down. And after you write that, I want you to think, what must happen in 5 years to make someday happen, and then 3, and then 1. Be ready to share in about 1 minute. Don't overthink it. Write little goals. Don't forget, look at the back wall. I love it. I see almost everyone is down to the 1 year. If you're not, keep going. All right, who will be brave? Share with us. Someday, 5, 3, and 1. All right.
I want to be retired by 45 to 50.
Okay.
Main goal would be to open my own brokerage and potentially start a Netflix show selling Naples and selling Tampa, but I'd like to be selling Naples.
Hey, can I tell you something about selling Tampa?
Terrible. What is it?
My husband and I's team sold more than that entire brokerage.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, it started.
You don't
Yeah.
want to be selling.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So we going from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
Someday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For 5 years, I would love to have 10 to 15 investment properties, 10 here in Florida, 4 in different states, and 1 international. Something, I don't know where, but somewhere so we can use it as a vacation.
Good.
That leaves me with my 3-year goal would be to have 3 to 5 income producing properties, 3 down here, 2 in other states.
Good.
For vacation. And then my 1-year goal this upcoming year would be to just purchase my first house and invest in stocks and cryptocurrency.
Okay. Do you see how that tiered up? That was perfect. Okay, the one thing I'm obviously going to challenge you on is this. Will you shoot me an email? It's arutherford@kw.com. Shoot me an email and ask me about the KW team who is on TV. Just ask me about them. Okay, you don't have to open your own brokerage to do that. You can stay right here, friend. All right. Because what bigger network of 180,000 people to be on your TV show, to connect you with it, to network to different locations, like if you're going to do flips and holds and whatever it is, okay? That is exactly it. How many of you have done something that intentional in the past where you've broken it all the way down to 1 year I've got to do this, all the way up to Sunday? Good, so we have an opportunity. Because we can sit here and say, I want to retire at 45, and yet if I don't know, in order to do that, my net worth has to be $10 million. I'm never going to get there if I don't know what must I invest this year to start heading me towards $10 million. Okay, that's a life on purpose, a life on purpose. Great job, I'm excited, okay? I challenge you, this is homework. Map out in the 7 areas of your life, what are your big goals? Okay, woo. What are your big goals in the 7 areas of your life? Here's what you want to do when you are setting goals. Make them very specific, measurable. Well, let's test yours. Were they specific?
Not as specific as it could be.
Not as specific as they could be, and they were pretty specific, okay? Were they measurable?
Mhm.
1 property, by this, by 3 years, it's 3 properties. You could add another layer, like how much per property are you thinking? So for me, it was 500,000 to get this net worth, okay? So specific, measurable, are they action oriented? Yeah, they are, okay? Are they realistic?
As long as I follow it, yeah.
They
That's
are.
realistic.
Remember, 90% of successes, mindset, they are, okay? The reality is your 1 year is what you are controlling, right? Because then every other domino falls in place. Is buying a home this year realistic? Yeah, it is. There's more money changing hands in the real estate industry than any other industry, okay? And then last one, is it time bound? Yeah, you did. You had everything based on time, okay? The last part of section 2, outside of SMART goals, and again, we're skipping some of this, it is an all-day class. Flip to page number 23. Here is the most crucial part of your success. I want to see that hanging outside of your office. I want to see that you put that on Facebook. I hope that my husband is watching this, or maybe sees the recording. He has signed up in October to do something really big. The Chicago Marathon. He is signed up, like locked and loaded, and I keep asking him, so boo, when are you gonna make it Facebook official? Because I haven't seen your post yet. He's like, oh, you can do the post. You always write better than I am. Dude, I'm not doing the post. When are you gonna put it out there? I ran a marathon about 2 years ago. I did not commit to that marathon. I didn't decide until I put it on social media. As soon as I said I'm running the Celebration Marathon, February 20, whatever it was, 2019, I hadn't really committed to do it. Because once you tell people,
They're gonna expect it to be done.
well, and I don't want to go back on my word.
Right.
And I'm not going to let people down and say I'm going to do something as a coach and then not actually do it. Okay? Only 6 months. I mean, I really started in about August and I ran it in late January. So August, September, October, November, December, January, 6 months. It does not take, and I ran it in horrible weather, in horrible, like torrential downpours, raining, 40-degree weathers, and I did it in like 4 hours and 40 minutes. Like, you can do it. If I can do it, I mean, I had duct tape on my feet, like to get the rain off. It was yeah. Anyway, here's what I want you to write down is this. It might be, nope, it's not on your page, so I definitely want you to write this down. Success is determined 10% from the clarity of your goals, 10% the clarity of your goals, 10% the specificity of your action plan.
What was that again?
10% clarity of your goals, 10% specificity of your actions, and then 80% from having accountability. I want you to tell me where that is proven. Yeah, 80-20 principle. Give me something in life that you see that works really well.
You said the last time.
80% is from having accountability.
Well, when it comes to your body, 90% of it is your food.
Okay, so
The
food,
majority of creating that or being healthy comes from your food.
well, let's stick with that. 80% is from having accountability. So what works really well in the United States around accountability with food? It's the #1 weight loss program ever in history. Weight Watchers. What is the principle of Weight Watchers? You gotta go once a week and do what? You gotta step on the scale. And the night before you're like, I'm wearing the plastics and I'm not drinking water. Have I pooped yet? Like, this is gonna mess it all up. It's gonna mess it all up. And why does it work? Someone is watching what you are doing. And we wildly misbehave. Think about the Biggest Loser. My friend Yale, she's an agent in Tampa. She's probably lost 100+ pounds. She's doing a bikini fitness bodybuilding competition in Orlando in June. And she's lost a lot of weight. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna have some loose skin and I don't care, I'm rocking it because I have lost all this weight. I work out hours every single day. I'm in the best health that I can. Her daughter died at age 10 from brain cancer. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna live because my daughter isn't right now. I'm gonna live the life she would have wanted for me, okay? And does she have a coach at that gym? Oh yeah, she does. She has a fitness coach. She's got this food coach. She's got how does she walk in high heels coach? I mean, she's got all these coaches, okay? We do better when people are holding us accountable, okay? Will somebody read the quote in the upper right-hand corner? Yeah, page 23, if it's to be, it's up to thee. If it's more you want, be accountable to me. So we're going to create this 411. I challenge you to share it with an agent in the office. I challenge you, Sam, to hang it right outside your office and say, if you see me not doing the things on this, open the door and say, hey, is that on your 411? And if you're not doing it, you'll give them $20. Sam's laughing. Again, it is not a joke. It is not a joke, okay? You tell me, Sam, what did you say?
I said, I'm sure Nico would hold the.
Oh, Nico would.
I can't do.
Mika, you know, it reminds me of that funny picture you've seen. I'm sure all of you have seen it, and it's someone with a headset on, and if they've got the sign hanging on their back, please do not talk to me. I have no self-control, and I'm supposed to be making phone calls right now. Oh yeah, you should do it. Hang the sign on your back, see what happens. Well, it does if you explain why you're on the phone. My kids know this. Are you guys ready? You will enjoy this.
Disneyland, they do get 4 points.
What?
They go to Disneyland if they get 4 points.
Yes, and here's what my kids know. And online, I'm going to do this so you get the visual. Here's when they know that they cannot act a fool. Sometimes I'm on the phone. I don't really care. Be fun, be silly, do this. It is. They know I'm not a crazy parent. Like, you have to behave all the time when.
Great.
I know sign language, guys, online. Did you know that? All right, so let's get to the meat. Okay, let's get to the 411 for today. So we started with why are we doing this? Because there's so much to get out of life when you're on priority. Okay. Then we have talked about setting really big goals. In order for you to buy your first house this year, well, we got to back that down, okay? How much money is that actually going to take? Which then is how many closings you need, which is how many appointments you need every single week, okay? How many buyers and sellers you sign and appointments. Where am I getting all of this from? I just walked you through a model. Write it down. It's the MREA economic model. The MREA economic model. MREA economic model that will tell you financially your appointments that you need. okay? All right, so let's look at the 411. I'm gonna stay in the packet for a little bit, okay? On page number 27 in the packet, let's talk about the concept. You will also wanna grab this document online, which is the actual 411. There's a sample one in here. I like this one better, okay? And I'll show you in a second why I like it. So you will see that the outline is annual on the top, okay? The annual goals, then it moves to monthly. What's my monthly goal? And then you've got these big chunks for each week of the month, okay? So let's talk about annual. You should set aside how much time each year? Top line, you've already talked about it.
2 days.
Yeah, 1 to 3 days to really work on your annual plan. Here are the areas in which this KWU course is recommending. You can further expand on page 113 of the one thing. I like the 7 circles. Yet these are really the 4 areas: job, business, personal, financial, and personal. Okay. Job, give me some examples. What's your job, Sam? This week, what must you do?
Lead generate, write contracts, follow up, set and go to appointments.
Good. Sam, how many appointments do you need to set this week from your lead gen?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 to 3. Hey, when we say 2 to 3, Sam, can I push? How many are you gonna get?
Probably 2 to 3 or 4.
Well, if I say 2 to 3,
And I consider like phone, because a lot of people from out of state, I consider phone,
yeah, absolutely. We work with a ton of out-of-town sellers. Those are definitely appointments. I was really pushing and getting out. If I say 2 to 3, I'm gonna let myself off the hook at 2. That's just human nature. The mind seeks whatever easiest. And if I said 2 to 3, well, 2 is an option. 2 it is, okay? So job is listing how many appointments. It's the specific part of your JOB. The business is different. Give me some examples of what would be on your annual business plan. Yeah, creating a budget, the 36 touch, what's my geographic farm, what are my client events? That is working on the business. It's not your job, okay? Which one could live without the other? It'd be real nasty, messy, and ugly. You could have your job without a business. Think about the worst co-broker you've ever had. They probably work on their job way more than their business. Okay, got it? Some of you are laughing. You're like, no, she called me 5 minutes ago. All right. The next one is personal financial. This is all things annual financial for you. Net worth, investment properties, all that good stuff. And then lastly is personally. What are your goals? Health, family, key relationships, all that. So you're going to stand, lock yourself in a room 2 days. And if you have a significant other, they are there with you. Write this down. It's the one thing couples retreat where you can business plan with your significant other. Life plan is probably a better term, okay? They have it online, or you can go out to, they've done it different places, Austin. It's on the onething.com website. The couples planning retreat, onething.com. Okay, Wendy and Jay Papazan lead it, and they're kind of fun. They're super fun. They have a real estate team, their parents, all that stuff. I can relate to them, except their business is a little bigger than mine. Okay, here we go. Monthly goals. So you're going to take those annual goals, and then you are going to divide by, you have really good math, and I'm going to challenge you. It's actually 10. You are going to divide by 10. Why? Yeah, who in the world is working 12 months a year? If you are, that's a different class, and we got to talk about that, okay? I'm not. Like, we're going to Georgia this summer. We'll go to Little Gasparilla this summer. We're going to go places. When my kids are off for Christmas, I'm pretty much off with them. Thanksgiving break, you do not work 52 weeks a year. You just don't. And if you do, that's not fun. We'll talk about that, okay? So take it and divide by 10. Be realistic. Do not, overdo yourself. Flip to page number 28. Weekly goals. Here's, I'm sorry, I lied. Go back to page number 27. I want you to jot this down. Set a calendar reminder on the 28th of the month to do this. Literally, you can say, hey Siri, set a calendar appointment on the 28th of the month at 12 p.m. Goal plan for the following month. Okay? I love it. Some of you are doing it now. You have to put this in your calendar or it's never going to happen. Okay? I still have it on my calendar every single month. I might have changed it to the last Friday of the month. Yep, here we go. Close out the month. For me as the company owner, we call our closed clients for each month. We close out whatever we had at Zillow. Write goals for each month. You will see, and it's set to repeat every single month, maybe on the last Sunday of the month. I'm not sure how it's set up yet. I still need 7 years into living this way, that reminder every single month. Okay. Now let's take it down to the week. When you do a 411 every single month, your annual is going to stay the same. Every week, every month, you do not have to redo that. You just transpose it from the previous, or if you use the digital version, it's already there. Save a different, now June or whatever.
Where is it?
This is on the onething.com. Yeah, it's on there, the onething.com. Then your month, it might change, okay? Because let's say you took off the month of April because you're like, man, season's going crazy. I'm out of here. I'm taking that month off, okay? Now you're going to be playing some catch up in May. So maybe you need to sign more listings. You need to save more money because you spent it on the trip or whatever. The month is going to be kind of flexible. It's going to change a little bit. Then the week. Here's the biggest mistake people do. They fill out the whole thing. No, it's 1 week at a time. Because how I do the first week depends what gets written on the second week.
So if you accomplish it the first week, it doesn't transfer.
No, you got it. So let me give you an example, and I'll show you on mine. Well, I'll show you my written one. I think I have in here. Okay.
You're saying on the weekly goals, you would just only fill a couple things out?
On the weekly goals, you do 1 week at a time.
Okay.
A lot of times agents will give it to me filled out for the whole entire month.
Okay.
And it'll say 2 appointments a week, 2 appointments the next week. And I said, well, what if on week 1 you only set 0? Next week, your new goal is 4. And we don't adjust. And then we wonder, why are we short at the end of the year? Right? So here's my 4-in-1. It's really hard to read. We're not going to go into depth. What do you think the highlighted stuff is? There's like something cathartic, like therapeutic about that little highlight. Okay. That one is, I don't know, probably 4 years old. Here is me now. Online, you can see, here's my printed version that I like, okay? My green is highlighted. I actually got that done. Okay, I know some of you are really judging me hard right now.
So you highlight what you got done?
I highlight what I got done so that I don't move it over to the next week. So then on Friday, when my assistant says, hey, it's time to do your 401 for next week, we haven't done it yet, I can literally snap a screenshot of this, what has been highlighted. She moves it over to the next week. And then she'll say, hey, is there anything else from the monthly that we also want to add to it? Do you see the system for that?
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts. I feel a limiting belief is creeping in.
It's overwhelming I think this is where having a coach comes in, because I'm one that if I do it with somebody the first time, that's it, I got it.
Yeah.
But my mind goes like this. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm here.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and I don't know where to start.
So I want you after class to go to Jordas and say, I'm going to give you my 401 every single week, Friday by 5 o'clock. And if I don't, Jordas,
You better find me.
find or fine?
Either.
Oh,
Either.
Fine or find. I love it. Okay. Great example, Elizabeth Curry. I did not like this document for months because I had to send it to her Sunday by 5 o'clock. And I was like, no, Sunday's my day with my family. I don't want to do this on Sunday. And she said, oh, perfect. It's due to me Friday, 3 o'clock. See ya. I was like, no, I don't want to do that on Friday. She said, no, you don't ever want to do it. And we're going to pick a time and commit to it. And here's the consequence. If you don't give it to me Friday by 3 o'clock, you are going to write a check, $1,000, and you're going to mail it to insert agent name, my greatest competitor in Tampa Bay.
So you have to stick with your admin, you write it, you send it to your admin, we have an admin, Kate, there, she doesn't help us with it.
Yes, she could,
So
right?
we would set it up and send it to her, is that right? Or how do you do that?
So the first one, you're gonna do all the work, you're gonna plan it out. If you do have an admin, I would task them Friday afternoon, I need you to call me, do not let me off the hook. And we're gonna look at this week's 411 and we're gonna create next week's 411 together. Angela knows, I'm driving, I'm at this market center, I'm here, I'm teaching this course. I will never sit at a desk and have the time and map it all out, I'm just not, okay? And you guys could have a virtual assistant for a fraction of a cost every single month and have someone help you as well. Like, you don't have to have like a full-time admin. Okay, Angela's my virtual assistant. Okay, she's a VA, very affordable. She helps me with everything. So I literally say it to her now. Typically when I'm driving, sometimes I'm in the office and I say, oh yeah, we did that. Okay, move these other things over, and she emails it to me. I print it out, stick it in my folder Friday, and I'm like, I can walk away from work.
So instead of writing it down, you're telling her, she's writing it out, and it will be.
Well, okay, so here's this week, it's early in the week, so it doesn't have a ton of notes, and yet I want to show you. Here, I end up writing on it, like, hey, I need to add this for next week. This is a living, breathing document, okay?
The weekly is what it is, monthly, yearly, not so much.
The yearly is not, okay? The monthly sometimes is, because if I had a really crappy, the market center profit-wise had not an amazing April, okay? We've had amazing January, February, March. And so May, like, you guys, we have got to double time it this month. So our monthly did change based on April. The tenets of it are very similar.
And
Okay.
weekly, you said you don't go from, like, this would be the first week, this would be the second week, this is the third and the fourth, and this is just carryover stuff, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see on this one, well, let me give you, like, right now, mine is on May 16th through the 22nd. I don't have anything written on May 23rd through 29th, because it depends. If I get all of it done, then I'm gonna go back to monthly and just pick a few things to add down here.
So this is not obviously the fifth week, there's no correct week.
Yeah.
It's just something extra you might want to add.
So here's why I like this one. Yes, if it doesn't have a fifth week, then it doesn't ever get filled in. Here's why I like this one, okay? People will say, you live in your 20%, you live in your 20%. Well, guess what? The 80% is still there. And I like that I can write down what's my 20%, that's on the top part for each week. See where it says 20, see where it says at the bottom, 80% money task, 80% personal, 80%. Does yours say that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where you put all the stuff, like the crap you still have to get done that doesn't make all the difference. I've never seen a 411 have a space for that. And I like that because you know what? You do still have to, like, literally for a few of our Airbnb properties, we had to schedule getting a roof put on, an AC installed, buying furniture, finishing up loan documents, buy a couch and have this person delivered to Indian Rocks Beach. Like, those things have to happen, okay? And they are Angela and I's like work. That's not really my 20% though. I do need to make sure that sometime in the week it happens.
You put that where?
In the 80%.
Oh, okay.
80%. This top part is your 20%. 80% is for the stuff that doesn't make all the difference. You still got to do it though.
But why would that be in your 20% if that's like your passive income coming in?
Because buying a couch does not do for me at Indian Rocks Beach what a mailer campaign, calling past visitors and saying, I'm running a special, you can stay one night free. Like, that's lead generating. This is gonna make their stay more enjoyable. It's nice, and maybe I'll get a better 5-star review, blah. But it does not, like, that is not the 20%. That's the 80%. It has to get done. It doesn't really make me more money. Okay? This class, I love that you're here. This is your 80%. You kind of have to do it to grow. It doesn't make you all the money. Okay, unless we got on the phones, we could do that right now. Okay. All right. Be like, no, wait, keep teaching. Okay, so do you feel comfortable with annual? So where do your annual goals come from?
2 days.
Your 2 days, you just shared yours. What would be at the very top of your 411?
Purchase a home.
Buy a house for $450,000 by December 31st. Like, that is my goal. Okay, give us one of yours that was on your someday to 1 year.
Someday I want to be in top of the luxury market.
Top 10% of the luxury market. That was your someday. So what must happen this year?
This year, I said that I needed to sell 2 $1 million homes just to get into.
Write it down. That's on the top of your 411. That is it. So I want you guys right now, grab the sheet, okay? And I want you, we're gonna just start planning for June. Let's start fresh, okay? I want you to jot down annual, monthly, and weekly. Okay, so annual is sell 2 $1 million properties.
That's on your 401k, okay, for the professional annually.
Yeah, that would be on the professional annual goal. Sell 2 $1 million plus properties. So write down one of your annual professional goals. Online, join in with us. Annual professional goals. Got it. All right, now I want you to take it one step further. What must happen in 1 month for you to hit that annual goal?
Right.
Yep, so you just go straight down. See how it says annual 2022 name? Then it says my monthly. So if it's 2 $1 million properties, well, you know what? This month, what do you think you can do?
But extra time.
Around what specifically? I am going to lead generate 100 luxury sellers in the month of June. I am going to attend 2 luxury classes. I'm going to read how the luxury or luxury lifestyles, like some book around luxury. I'm going to interview the top luxury agent in another market. You know, we're chunking this down. Okay, which one of those is most important? Call 100 luxury sellers. Okay, hold a luxury open house, a luxury broker's open house.
So 2 luxury open houses.
You got it. What you focus on, expand. Okay, so what? That's our monthly. Does anybody need to walk through their monthly with me? I can help you. Annual to monthly. Your annual might be 50 closings. Okay, I think yours was what, 53?
Yeah.
Okay, so 53 closings. So that would be at the top of yours, 53 closed units. Okay,
And
so
then average out at the end, I have to set 3 appointments a week and close 1 house a month, but that was based on the average of 425.
okay, so hold on. You would have to have, and I'm gonna divide by 10. So per month, it'd be 5.3 closings. You can't have that. So it's 6 closings a month.
That's right.
So you need 6 closings a month. In order for you to get 6 closings a month, you can't control closing. What can you control? Appointments, okay? So in order for you to have 6 closings a month, and let's say they're all sellers, okay, just to make life easy, I don't know. How many seller listings must you take to have 6 closings a month?
Half. Well, mine, that I worked out, whatever I worked out with in my productivity coaching.
Well, it'd really be double.
Okay.
So not half. So if 6 closings, you would need to take 12 listings.
Okay,
In today's market though, if you want 6 closings, you probably need to take 7 listings. Maybe, because one person might change their mind, like the majority are selling, okay?
yeah, mine was like 53 that have to do fruition, and then we did the percentage of, and then figured out how many appointments is one
Yep.
thing.
So you guys did the economic model,
Yeah.
like you're done, you're golden, you're set. I'm speaking in kind of general terms for everyone else. If the annual goal is 50, your monthly close is 5, your appointments that you must go on is probably 10, 2 a week, okay, or 3 a week. I always front load the month, write that down. Front load the month. If you look at my calendar, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of every week, you would want an old fashioned for lunch. Okay?
So you front load your week.
I front load my month, I front load my week, I front load everything, because you know what happens? Life, my kids, the flu, COVID, broken bones. I mean, like, there's just stuff that gets in the way, and I still want to be able to have some flexibility in life. You know, like last Friday, we closed everything out, signed the kids out of school at 2:30 in the afternoon and went on the boat. I didn't feel bad about that because I literally had worked and nailed everything the first however many days in the week. Okay? You can tell we're so wild. I cut out of work 2.5 hours early. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, and Morgan actually held me accountable. She texted me at 4 o'clock. Are you on the boat? I was like, well, we're sitting in traffic on the way to put the boat in. She's like, okay, that works. Anybody else want to talk about your annual all the way down to your weekly? I want you to have this when you walk out the door.
My annual or my 1-year goal is to get back to my close 25 transactions.
25 deals.
Yeah, so, for me, and the other one is to make my calls every day. That's where I'm really efficient. I
Yep.
just know I am. So in my monthly goals, make the 20 calls every. I guess I think it has to be between 10 and 20.
Yep.
Calling my past customers.
Be specific though. Each person in my database once a quarter. Like it needs that level of specificity, okay?
Okay, yeah, and then follow up with all of my listing meetings, because I have and then I had a seminar that I was on for DST, so follow up with those people.
Good.
So every month, that's.
So I'm going to challenge you, that lead gen calendar, because you do have multiple levers, is critical for you. It is critical. Are you open to coaching?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to see if you guys observe the same thing. Which one did you say with more conviction than the other? I'm going to get back to my 25 closings,
Yeah.
or I don't make my calls.
With more conviction, what I do or don't do.
Yeah, I'm asking you, which one did you say with more conviction? Like,
I'm gonna get back to my 25 closings.
I wouldn't have had this coaching moment if you did.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely, I know, and I know I
Good.
can do it, I've done it.
Good.
That's
Yes,
not
you
a problem.
can.
It's just the calls I need to do better.
I am better.
I am better. I am better.
I am better.
Yeah, so I just came to Keller, not long ago, and this whole, usually I would go through my phone book and call the people that I love
Of
so
course.
very much. But having the letters in place, I called one of my past customers, letters and he answered and said, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I thought, I haven't talked to this guy. Hysterical. But he wanted me to do my analysis.
Yeah.
So
It works.
it works.
It works. So be really careful, friends. Like, I truly care about you, and words matter. When I grew up, I've shared this in different classes. Like, my parents used to say, like, you're the one with all the brains and your brother is the athlete. So I used to say, like, well, I'm just not an athlete. Like, I'm just not an athlete. And I believed that. And now, 40 years later, I am an athlete. I exercise, like my health matters to me. Like I'm an athlete, a consistent, I love Peloton, like I love all these things. And I think how many years of my life did I miss out on that opportunity because I spoke something that was spoken into me. And sometimes we're the ones that speak the worst things into ourselves. So when you say I'm not good at the calls, I need to make the calls, I don't do the calls. We've got to reframe that to say, I love providing value and connecting with the people who choose to work with me. I love serving people because your mind believes whatever you tell it. That's it. Like your mind believes whatever you say to it. And you know what it does next? Once you tell it, like, I love calling people. I love making my calls. I love teaching classes. I love talking to top agents. You start lining up the clues to find that. And here's a great example. I can either say, so invariably when I get home, like one funny story, I got home from Bold one time. I was traveling for like 2 or 3 days. And I used to come home late at night and I would immediately walk to the, wow, thanks a lot. No. I would walk to the kitchen sink because I wanted to see if it was stacked up the dishes. Because then I would pull my suitcase down the hall and I'm 2 a.m, put it in the closet, like, oh, this place is a mess. I leave out of town and it goes bananas around here. Like, we gotta keep this in order. And I remember saying to my coach, accountability, Scott, I'm kind of losing it as a mom, 4 kids, like the travel. When I get home, like things are off the rails. And he said, well, why do you think they're off the rails? And I said, I don't know. Like my husband is so much more fun than I am. He reads them stories, like he's playing with them, like they're just Play-Doh, like all this stuff. And he said, so here's my challenge for you is that you're going to think of that and frame it this way. I'm so grateful that I have an engaged spouse that is parenting our children and spends time with them, has fun with them, loves them. If the dishes were in the sink, then you know what that means? He was probably putting them to bed. We have a choice in how we see the environment. So here's how I knew that it actually worked. So one day, Bold, go home, the next morning, sleep, wake up, I'm in the shower and I shave my legs and I go to put my foot up on the little bench in the shower. And where I put my foot, I'm like, is that a lollipop? He lets them eat lollipops in the shower. And all I could do was laugh and think, no wonder they think he's cooler than I am. He lets them eat lollipops in the shower. Whereas the other parallel universe existed to say, are you freaking kidding me? Like, really? Like, come on. We have a choice of, I love making the calls. I love connecting with people, or maybe I'm just not really good at this.
There's a book about that. The Power of Emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, it's so good. Basically, their idea is you're either upstream or you're downstream with your thoughts. And she's already downstream, but she doesn't realize it because she recognizes that she's both and it unit. So that's a positive thing. You're already better than you were yesterday because you know that you have a problem and then you're trying to fix it.
That is bold, right there. I love teaching it for years. Have you gotten to take it yet? No, not yet. It's coming, October. All right, so here's what I want to do. Take a look at your 411. Okay, Sam, do you have stuff written down? Okay, here's what I want you to test on it. And actually, before we test it, there's a great sample in your appendix, and we're not going to spend time on it today. I just want you to flip and find it, of a mega agent 411. It's in your appendix.
37 on the back.
It's on page 50, or maybe it's, yeah, page, oh no, that's the team leader.
The one with the errors.
52.
Page 52, thank you. Page 52, sample 411 for an MREA real estate agent. Just take a quick peek at that. You notice anything different than yours?
Yes, there's 1
52. Yep, 52 online. We're on page 52 in the packet.
That's nice though, because it's more filling it in as you go. It's like the same thing. And it's
Yeah.
really just filling it in each week, each month.
Mhm. These are the 8 like core behaviors of real estate agent, the 8 key goal areas of a real estate agent: leads, listings, leverage, and then it's further broken out, profit, etc. Okay, so just know that sample is there, page number 52. Maybe put a little post-it next to it in your market. Yeah, go back to page number 31. Here is our like litmus test if we're doing the 411 document correctly. Are you ready? Who can read some of these for us? Save my voice a little bit.
Weekly goals that do not correspond to larger monthly goals.
Okay, good. So you got to make sure that there's a connection when you're doing it.
Monthly goals that do not correspond to larger annual
Good. Everything flows. What else?
Goals that are not smart, specific, measurable, action oriented, realistic, and time bound.
Yeah, like I could say, hey, I want to work out. Like I could go to the gym and get like a smoothie. I went to the gym for 5 minutes. I mean, I kind of looked and sweated a little bit, I feel like. No, it's specific. So now that he's training for the marathon, he's got a coach. He's got this app that she tells him what to do, and he's got to run the different things and the lengths and the time. Like that's SMART goals. Okay, they are specific. All right, keep going.
weekly goals that are really to be passed rather than have to be passed.
Circle that one right there. That is the biggest issue that I see. We are on page 31. Page 31. Sorry, we're flipping around. 31. There's a lot of good meat in here. We just don't cover it all. Okay. Page number 31, number 4. This is a big one. I see a lot of 411s that have to-do lists, task lists. No, top. Page number 4. Yeah, number 4. Top achievers have a not to-do list more than they have to-do lists. They say, I'm not doing all that stuff because it doesn't get me anywhere. Okay? Be very careful that you don't let creep in here. I'm going to plant new plants in my garden. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to, none of that stuff is really moving you forward. Okay? So not a to-do list. Number 5.
Planning weekly goals activities more than 1 week in advance.
Yep, don't fill in the whole entire thing. It's once a week. So here's what I would write down next to that. Set a calendar reminder every Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever time. Plan the following week. Who's holding you accountable?
Apparently nobody.
Jordan. All right, number 6.
Annual goals that are more likely someday goals. That is, they are not realistic for 12 months.
Yeah, so I could put like here, my annual goal is that I'm going to own 20 properties. Listen, I love thinking big, and yet that requires money and a team that produces the amount of net income to buy all those, and it's a process, and I'm not there yet. Okay, I'm just not this year, not yet. Number 7.
The temptation to revise goals set in prior weeks or months to reflect new goals or missed goals.
Can you write this down? The goals don't change. The goals don't change. The actions do. The goals don't change. The actions do. All right. So who is going to commit to creating their June 411? Okay, so we've got it. I'm going to give you my email, arutherford@kw.com. arutherford@kw.com. Send it to me and I will give you feedback. Hey, you may want to focus more on this. Does that really connect? Is that really your 20%? Okay, this is a process. It took me 6 months. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, one of the things I, for a couple of weeks now, I used what, we said, 2 $1 million homes, and I, put grossing, 10, 15 million or whatever. Then I went down to like leverage. I put leverage, and then I put it down that's the yearly. And I went to get a closing for the monthly.
Yep.
That monthly, yeah, my monthly, correct? weekly goal for leverage, because I am kind of stuck there. I just did do coordinator, because I'm not doing it because there's something I didn't like. I do want to, I'm not giving you 6 months ago, I said, and then I said, I'm not giving anyone my password, this, that, the other, for commands. What if they erase all my content? What if they do that? And why would they do that? And so I finally,
Sam's downstream.
yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah. So I went
He's drowning out
I
there.
got one that's had
Yeah.
2 files, and what would you put weekly for leverage after you went to the coding?
So here's a couple of thoughts. In order to get the closing coordinator, it really boils down to what?
Having deals.
Getting the business. Okay, so sometimes you don't have like the smaller step. You got to do the work to get the leverage. Okay, here's other things. Interviewing different closing coordinators, interviewing closing coordinator companies, seeing what all is out there, asking your coach about the next right hire. Like those would be the weekly pieces to getting to that closing coordinator. The next thing, Sam, for you might be, who's doing your listing coordination?
Well, I'm gonna have her, she said she did it. Somebody, I had to have somebody that could reach out and touch my.
Yep.
Actually see them face. So somebody I talked to months ago.
Good.
And I finally did it, and, because I'm a big name person.
Yeah.
For that, I'm not gonna, it'll be okay, I want to do something first.
Mhm.
Well, speak.
Yeah.
Now, so once I did that, and this week is over with, then what when it comes to my.
Okay, so
Leverage is number, is my annual
you
goal.
don't always have to have it. Here's what I would recommend. The first one is you got to stay focused on the lead generation, the appointments to keep being able to afford that person. The second thing is now I want to know what is their under contract checklist? What does it look like? What are the touch points? How many times do you call the customer? How many times do I call the customer? Who's turning in? Like, what is the system around what we are doing? So now we've got the person in place. What is the training? What is the system? What does it look like? So each week you can kind of make progress. But Sam, you don't have to have somebody written down.
Okay.
You don't.
So
Okay.
you have to go like a step by step. Okay.
Yeah. You're just kind of breaking it down. Okay, now that I got this person, what am I doing? Like, I might ask, can you send me the email templates that you're going to send to my people so I know what you're saying to them? Are you going to copy me on every email? Like, you need a system in place of how you engage with them.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure that myself right now. Do I just do nothing anymore?
Mhm.
And
So-
just throw it in their lap? I'm
So I'd ask-
trying to figure that out.
What could you put in place to figure that out?
I put things in my Google Calendar, so if, like, when I go ahead and, she'll go ahead and say, hey, these are the timelines and all that, I verify, and I put it in my Google Calendar so that, if I had got an email from her,
Yep.
or whatever,
It's like a trigger.
yeah, that is kind of triggering, so I didn't change what I do, but I just don't do it myself anymore. I just put it in my calendar, and then just make sure that she does it.
So sometimes when we are without a transaction coordinator in-house in our team and we have one outsourced, something that we have done is because of the volume that we're doing, we have to have a weekly meeting. Like at the beginning of the week, here's what's upcoming, here's what you need to think about, here's what I'm still missing. This seller still hasn't turned in this to me. And in the end of the week, here are the closings that are happening, here are the DAs, here's the plans. So maybe you guys need to figure out your communication system. You know, that could be a little. But you don't have to have something. Here's one, and Sam, I'm kind of like you. I like to, like, I want to fill it out and I want to do it right. And then I buff the system. Like, don't straight jacket me. I don't want to have to do all these things, okay? It's really to empower you, not imprison you. Okay, so think about the document that way.
First weekly thing, so since he wants to leverage as your annual, could you possibly think each week, what's the next thing I might be able to leverage,
Yeah.
you know?
There's a
So you
great
don't
book.
have to clean your house, that's something.
No, I started doing that. I started hiring somebody to do that. I bought it, it's too big for me.
Right, it saves time.
Yeah, and then another thing to leverage, I was opposed to ordering stuff. 4 months ago did Prime. Oh, this is great. Amazon Prime, I just order everything now. Ink just got delivered here today. And I've been for months, I've been doing that. I don't have to go anywhere but to the grocery store. And
Now you can do a call ahead and you can have it drop it right off into your car.
yeah.
So, know our homes. Let's say he hit both of them already. Do you go back to those goals or do you just so you do revisit?
So you
them?
can revisit a goal if you're gonna increase it.
Okay.
As a coach, I'm never gonna say, wow, 10 homes, oof,
Well, I'm
you're
saying
not
like,
pacing that, let's drop it to 3. Forget the trip
if you
with the
did it in the
kids.
first month, then you would want to
Yeah.
immediately. So
Yeah.
that was one that you have to
So
do
you
your yearly goal.
can revisit a goal by company. It's not-
Not-
And that's
not
only
having-
if you complete it, correct? Like if you
Yes.
achieve your 2
Yep.
or whatever. it
If you're
is.
outpacing that, well, it's time to kick up the goal, okay? All right, let's flip to page number 36. We're gonna talk about time blocking, which we're really in the 4th part of the day. Create the 411, and then what was the hard thing?
Doing it.
Implementing, executing it, just do it, okay? Doing the 411, okay, which is really, we are gonna create this document, okay? And here's the issue. I'm gonna write these things down. So for me, it is dependent model team bridge, updating the office space, an opportunity for a certain person, a comp plan for an employee. Like, these are the important things that I need to move forward this week. If I don't get them done, it's not because I didn't write them down. What do you think I didn't do?
Time block it.
That's it. I didn't actually say in my calendar on Tuesday at 10 a.m., I'm going to work on the comp plan. On Wednesday at 9 a.m., I'm calling these people. I'm on my drive home, calling all these people. We judge, what is the saying? We judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions. Oh, I meant to call them and I was gonna do that and I thought about it. Well, look at that agent. They only did one deal. That was their actions and we're over here judging ourselves by our intentions. Taking it from the 401 and then literally saying, okay, so Sam, on next Tuesday, you put next Monday at 11 o'clock when you're done lead genning, email admin about a structured communication plan. Like, it actually needs to go in your calendar so that you have time and you check it off. Okay, and let's talk a little bit more about why. Flip to page number 36. Okay, time blocking is only for these bullets, the big stuff. You're not time blocking everything. Like, I do not time block lunch. I do not time block going to the grocery store. I don't time block those things. I time block what is my 20%. Okay, which is the most important task. It says that in the second one, 20%. Also, don't time block every single minute of your week. I time block a lot of it. Some people don't. And then block your non-negotiable stuff, your big rocks first. You put those in your calendar first, and then everything else comes after that. Okay. Flip to page number 37. Being purposeful on time blocking. Okay. The keys to success. What time do you meet for seller listing appointments? Okay, well, we have an opportunity right there. Okay, so when I would set an appointment and the seller would say, okay, fine, yes, I'll meet with you. Okay, great. How is Thursday at 1 or 3 or I have Friday at 5 o'clock? Which one works best for you? They're already in my schedule. Like, I know that those are my listing appointment times. I'm just waiting for the name to attach to them. And if I don't have a name, guess what my listing appointment times turn into? Lead generation times. If you don't have those time blocks, oh, you'll meet with me? Oh, great. When is? Oh, it's like the dirtiest thing you can ever say. When is best for you, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller? And they'll say, exactly right about the same time that little Johnny has his championship soccer game Saturday at 1:30. Great. Stop living uneasy. That question's really easy. Well, great. What works for you? Having a little bit of purpose means I get to be a mom. I'm not missing Johnny's soccer game because how terrible is it? Oh, what works for you? Saturday at 1:30. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I can't do that time.
Not only that, then if you're training them to call you during your own time.
Yeah.
Your private time.
Yeah.
And,
When you call my voicemail, it says our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 or 8 to 5:30. Saturdays are by appointment only, and Sundays are reserved for faith, family, and friends. I look forward to returning your calls between these times. So I'm training people. Saturday, you can get an appointment with me. Okay, that is possible. Typically, my Saturday appointments though are with 5 people: Jared, Braden, Jackson, Addison, and Landon. Like those, I am on an appointment. It's just on a baseball field or soccer field or a theater or something like that. Okay. However, if we live on E, we let people tell us the right times. Okay. Be thoughtful about the blocks of time that you are actually planning. Okay. Don't plan your biggest lead gen time when you know you're going to have a ton of interruptions from your family or from distractions. Number 3, be diligent about not allowing anything to steal that time that you have dedicated. Who's the worst offender of stealing your time? Yeah. Yourself. Ooh, I'd rather scroll Facebook than get hung up by a FISBO. And we're all people. Okay, that's real. Our brain searches for what is the easiest. Number 4, circle this big time. Circle it, circle it. If you erase, you must. Yeah, just because you came here today, this was your lead gen block, you don't not do lead gen. It just moves to a different time. You stay later, you start at a different time, okay? And then number 5, I have heard this word many times today. Have I given you a plan to be consistent with this? Yeah, on Friday afternoon, when you do your 411, it is also and time block for the week. It is 411 and time block. You do it all at the same time. Okay. All right. Look at page number 38. Page number 38. If this is someone's daily calendar, what could it look like if it was your daily calendar? Walk us through it. 8 o'clock. Okay, kids to school.
9 o'clock lead gen,
Okay, so 9 o'clock starts lead generation.
maybe 10, 10 to 12.
Okay, so 10 to 12 lead generation.
8 o'clock is when I'm working out.
Okay, 8 o'clock is my physical health time. Sam, what about you? What does your day look like?
8 in the morning, I'm heading to work or, usually heading to work or watching a video. Particularly active,
Yep.
So I'll watch something between 7 and 8.
So you're stretching yourself, it's
And
motivation.
script, I got script, I have 92 ways to speak to people. That I have membership to that. And I try to find a book with 7 habits of how to. So right now,
Good
I'm
one.
92. So something like that. We can
Yep.
wake up.
So it's 8 o'clock is workout, energy time, something like that. 9 o'clock, it starts the lead generation. Okay, I guess you guys don't like shower and stuff, I don't know. 9 o'clock starts lead gen, and then it's scripts and role play. It's who am I calling? Then it's actually 2 hours of lead generation. Then it's lead follow-up, okay? And then in your afternoon time, what can you block? Appointments, showings, listing appointments.
20% that's on there.
Yeah, more lead gen if you don't have those appointments, okay, working on the business. You know, you should have every single week multiple hours to work on your business, blocked in your calendar, okay? Now, it's so nice to put together a pretty schedule, isn't it? And then what happened? You don't follow it, okay? Oftentimes we don't follow it because of our inability to say louder.
No,
What?
no, we're kids never here.
No. Our inability to say no. Look at page number 39. I love this. The 4 steps to a good no are, who can read that for us?
Start by asking questions, make sure you understand the request.
Keep going.
If you want to meet, say no, do so. no is a complete sentence. You do not justify your reasons for saying no.
That was why your script was so good on the commission. No,
Suggest viable alternative resources for the person.
good job. When you say yes to someone, you are saying no to someone else. And typically what you say yes to and the no turns into you, your priorities, your health, your family, your time. And that's not really a healthy place to be, okay? Page number 40, I want you to think creatively about delegation, okay? Who and how can you delegate? There's some great systems. Transaction coordinator, a runner, a TC, yeah, referral partner, absolutely. Maybe you only want to focus on listings. Refer out to a referral partner, the buyer side, okay? So you can stay focused. Page number 40 is on delegation. And then I'm just going to point out one more thing and we're going to wrap up. Page number 44. While you're flipping there, I want to show you an example as you're flipping of my 411 when I was real estate, or my time block when I was real estate agent. Okay, I color code everything because it helps me see really quickly. What do you think red stands for? Yeah, it's my personal, the things I love to do that only I'm gonna do, okay? What else do you see? Yellow is, yeah, the stuff I have to do. It's kind of the 80%, okay? And yet it's probably not making me money. What is the green? Yeah, it's my favorite color. It goes with everything I own, every house I own. Yes, you got it. It's green. It's lead generating. It's listing appointments. It's those 5 things going green. Okay. What do you notice about this week? Yes, I'm not lead genning in bold, which there is actually a time in bold that you do. Oh, sorry. I'm not lead genning in bold. And so what do you see later that I've done to make up for it? Yep. Thursday, Friday, that's a long chunk of lead gen. You see my role play is in yellow. Savers. If you've never read this book, The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents, it's a great book. It's basically how do you start the day getting in an energy zone, kind of meditating, your physical health, affirmations. It's The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents. And along those same lines, that's why I want you to flip here. Page number 44 is KW, Gary Keller, the one thing, the energy plan. And it is start every single day and tend to these 5 areas. Meditate and pray, exercise and eat, hugs, kiss and laugh, plan and calendar, lead generate. All of this can be done by 11 o'clock. If you finished all of that by 11 o'clock, how are you feeling? Pretty darn good. And when you feel good, how do you treat other people? Good. I love it. Everyone, we are going to wrap up with some ahas, okay, because it's 2 o'clock and I want to get you out. Can you do me a favor though and pull out your phone? Can you go to the website KWU eval, KWU-eval.com. It's on the big screen. KWUeval.com. And will you do me the biggest favor in the whole entire world, because I am a KWU instructor, give feedback, okay? If it was great, my name on there should be Amber Rutherford. And if it's bad, it's James Shaw.
Will it pop up for today's class, or is there a code here?
It's, hold on, let me, what is it showing you? It should just be like a template. Where we pull this out, right? Okay, KWU, yes, so click on the evaluation course survey. Yeah, time management of the 401.
But it'll be for today. We have a calendar for today.
So what you go to is, it'll say, who is your instructor? And it's Amber Rutherford. It is a market center class. Is it regional market center class? Did you get it? Okay. Okay, good. Super. So what are the first two things? What does it say? You're fine, you're fine.
It's basically asking you, the market center, the name of the course, instructor name. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
What was the real name of the course?
So, the real name, tricky, it's the sexiest mega agent, no, it's time management with the 411. Time management with the 411. As you guys are clicking through that, share with me, this is all good and wonderful when it actually goes into action. If this packet goes on a shelf back in your office, the smartest bookshelf that ever lived, and it doesn't actually come to fruition, then this was an afternoon lost, an afternoon wasted. So tell me, what are you going to take from today and implement?
How to actually assemble a 411 and know how to actually, how to assemble it.
Yep. And then what's the biggest part with implementing this document? Having accountability, looking at it. What's the last section that we really dived into? Time block it. If I say on my 401 that a date with my husband is important, date with Jared, date with kids, turn off phone at 5 p.m., 5 days a week workout plan, daily devotional. That then needs to actually be on my calendar. You have to see the date night. Because if not, oh, it's Friday, I'm tired. Do we really have reservations? Yeah, we really did, because we said it's important. Okay, what else are you taking from today to implement?
How important pre-planning is. So that when the time comes, you know, where you're supposed to be or what.
I just put this on your refrigerator,
Yes.
because, you know, you put it on your desk at home or where, but if you put it on, for me,
Snap a picture of it and save it as your screensaver on your phone. So every time you pick this little thing up, the hidden picture instead of my cute little baby girl is my 401 for the week. So that when I'm in idle time, random time, just waiting in line at the grocery store and I pull the phone out or whatever it is, boom, here's my 401. What you focus on expands. What you give time to actually happens. That's why I carry it with me everywhere I go. On the top.
Good question about that is.
Yes, it is. So this is all the different companies that we are involved with and kind of my big plans for each of them. This one document though dictates all my actions. So I put it on the front. It is digital. There's a digital version of this. I just like to print it. So that when I'm walking around, driving, traveling, I don't have my phone out, like wrecking my car every 2 seconds. I can just look at it over here and do what I need to. Great question. Yes, the version that you have on this website is digital. I type in it every week, update it, all that. Okay, last one.
Well, there was, I had an aha moment, but I'm 50 and I can't remember what it was. I
It was
remember
really
something
good though.
great.
It was really good.
I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Maybe I should write it down, maybe I did, but anyway.
Who can walk me through the flow? Because this is the big idea you have to get. Who can walk me through the flow from like the big idea all the way down to the specific? What's the order? Where do you tackle this?
You have to have a someday goal. That's the biggest thing that I took out is that you have, when I wrote the someday goal, I was like, that's crazy. But then when you go to the 5 year, the 3 year, and the 1 year, the 1 year is definitely attainable. And 3 and 5 are also, and that will lead you to your someday goal. And I always look at things like a year in advance, and that's not far enough. You have to have that main goal you're striving for at the end game, you know, when you want to retire or when you're in your 50s, 60s, and looking at it from year 1 all the way to year 5, and that someday goal, everything is attainable.
There's, write down BHAG, it's big, hairy, audacious goal. And there's a book and it's evading me right now, and it talks exactly about the power. Okay, so someday, 5, 3, 1, then the 1 is gonna go at the top of this, okay, the top of this, then what are you gonna do next? Divide by 10 and map out your monthly. You're gonna set a calendar reminder when?
Okay.
The 28th of every single month to do this monthly piece. Okay, the annual doesn't change. So you're gonna close out the month, like, hey, did I hit my 5 closings or 6 closings? If I only have 3, the next month is 8. I gotta do 8 next month, okay? This is a living, breathing document. So on the 28th of the month, you're gonna do the monthly, and then every Friday afternoon or Sunday, whichever is better for you, you're going to do your weekly. You're gonna do your weekly planning for the upcoming week, okay? And then that is not the end. That's a feat in itself. I just want to cheer you on if you've gotten this far. You've like made it this far in the game. And yet, where's the real power? Which is time blocking. Like, I want to see, and you can be my, can I get a witness? Here's my witness. Do you see like important things like kids soccer, working out, important anniversaries? Here's my husband and I, what are we doing?
Planning meeting.
Business planning, dependent model team bridge. What's the second thing on my 411 for the week?
It's the same thing that's on there.
Dependent model team bridge. Like I have to actually block the time for what I wrote on here. Okay? And that is where people really fall apart. They'll do this work, which is phenomenal.
Calendar where you block it, or whatever calendar you have.
Yeah, whatever calendar you have. I like to see my month. I like to see my month on paper. These are just the biggest things. Okay, the very biggest things in my month. Everything else, though, lives on my Google Calendar right here. I gotta see it. Okay. All right, who's committing to living on purpose? All right. What do I expect to see from you within the next week? All right, 1 or 2 people are really going to do it. Is it going to be you? All right. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Yes, grab some food. I think there's like 50 pounds of eating. Thank you guys online. If you will take the survey, and I challenge you to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to put my email in the chat box in case you didn't get it. It's arutherford@kw.com. If you haven't finished the survey, please do that. It's very important to the big, important people.
So on the 411, this bottom weekly, it's just if you have more than 10, it would go down to this bottom paragraph.
Yeah, don't do more than 10.
Okay.
It's too much.
So really, it's only that.
Yeah, for the first week of the month, it's that.
Right, and then you get a whole new page or book.
Then it's the second week of the month, it's this.
Okay.
Third, the fourth, and it's the fifth.
Gotcha.
So that's what the whole.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for not leaving without knowing that.